Last we left off, while headed for rest in the frigid port of Darkvale Harbor, a particularly potent sense memory had overcome the Enid, and this scent of rot had brought forth a repressed memory or moment to the surface. This particular scent was not something mundane, but supernatural. Unfortunately, try as you might on the wintry winds of the North Sea, the scent eluded you, and you all retired for the evening with feelings of unease. Nevertheless, morning came, and as a new day dawned, you prepared to say your goodbyes to your traveling companions, Ursa and Cal. As you made your way to the Rhine Thrasher, you spied a gathering of sailors, and onlookers around another ship, known as the Kingsmith. And before you could awaken Cal and the crew, you saw your uneasy feelings from last night become real consequences in the light of day, as 3 bodies were pulled from the ship, clearly dead, clearly worked over, and the populace here grew at odds with what to do next. Thus, you stepped in as detective, and ultimately to try to find answers for yourselves. In the somewhat lawless fringe of Candorne, there was little leadership, and the people here deigned to call upon the Candorian company to investigate, so you were as good as any, despite the randomness and somewhat suspicious beginnings. Aboard the Kingsmith, you found signs of torture, and ultimately of murder. With the aid of magical detection, you found no signs of magic. The items you had seen here the day before, seemingly stolen. The bodies themselves were slashed and torn, and in their wounds and aboard the ship, you found flakes of rust that bore the same rotting scent. Unfortunately, despite your investigation and a night's surveillance, no one returned to the scene of the crime, and the mystery of who or what killed these relic hunters was left cold. You left the town's pseudo-leadership rusty, a viable story to tell the townsfolk, and with his thanks, you left. You left Darkvale behind. The lingering question marks that surround your recent endeavors remain unanswered for now. But adventure and travel calls ever stronger. The allure of your mysterious patron back in Karden weighs on you. And having spent over the last 3 weeks of your lives on this first mission, you aim to return to the Immortal Man to debrief and to discuss a plan for his patronage. For now, though, a little under 2 weeks of overland travel lay between Darkvale and Karden. So as you set off into the wilderness, we're going to enter into a multi-day skill challenge for travel.
Ooh.
Last game, you elected to take this overland route rather than to travel south by road. Given your party makeup, this is not crazy. This actually makes sense. And thus, it works pretty well to play into some of your skills and strengths while keeping a low profile on the road that also works for some of you. However, as I stated in the last game when you made this decision, taking an overland route does run the risk of greater wilderness encounter, but also potential for greater rewards in the wilderness and unexplored regions of the world. Thus, as you begin to head south-southeast, to get your heading, I will ask first for a survival check from one of you with advantages as it's a group check, but one person will make the check. And based on what the check is, it will determine the DC for the subsequent skill challenge that's to come.
Oh, no pressure, no pressure.
So, who's going to take our first survival check here?
Who's got the best?
Yeah.
I had 6, but I feel like you would be good at this too, Nettie.
I had 5.
I have plus
wow,
4.
you're good too. Okay, I can take the
So
first one.
either of you, yeah.
Sorry to completely skip you, Andy, there. I just didn't know how good.
When's not that good? When's not that good?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
With advantage?
You do have advantage because it's basically a group determination. I think it's fair given the makeup of your group, certainly.
25.
Yeah.
Or nat 19.
A nat 20 would have made a slight difference, but a nat 19 is not going to hurt. So the DC is only 11. You're still low level. And that success makes it basically as easy as you're going to get in this kind of a game. With the DC determined, the way this is going to work is we're going to do a skill challenge as we've always done skill challenges. You can choose any of your skills, abilities, spells, features of your class, just random ideas that you have that you want to throw out as like how you want to help the party navigate, how you want to help the party get food, like you're in overland travel here, like there are lots of things that could happen in the wilderness, and how you want to aid not just yourself but the rest of the party and expedite travel. Think outside the box, or just think of the skills that you have and tools that you have at your beck and call, and then we'll determine what that skill check ultimately becomes. For each success out of the 4, you will each earn a D4, and once we've gone through each of you doing a check, for all the successes, you will roll all the D4s collectively. That's how many days will pass in safe travel, and then on the next day we will play that out in full, whether it's full like role play, or just a kind of a passing, if nothing's to come from you guys, it'll just be a passing thing, but I will roll to see what happens on that day. It will be random.
Good.
But something will happen on that day, though your characters don't necessarily know that. In theory, this could be like 1 skill challenge and we're there. In theory, this could be 3 if you all roll like shit. Who knows? The wilderness calls and we will answer. So, before we roll the first checks here, an additional thing, during those days of travel, feel free to jump in and say, say there's 6 days of travel, feel free to jump in and have conversations, or when we're at rest on one of the nights, can I do this? Or while we're traveling, can I look for this? This is all open. So
Love it.
there's nothing, like, we don't need to shut up for the days of travel until I say, okay, now we're here.
You guys can speak now.
Okay, so DC set as 11. What do you guys want to do to aid your travel, aid your party, and get moving?
Could I try? You can tell me what skill this would be, and if it's, I imagine we already did a survival, so I imagine you're like ideally not that one.
I'm okay with it in the skill chart. The survival was to set the DC, so it's getting your bearing for the first day, and basically it's just like, which way is southeast? That way, cool. Like,
Okay.
It wasn't particularly challenging. It was more to make sure that you didn't decide to travel north instead.
Basically, I'm going to try to recall any, like, whether they're current or past shepherd routes through these areas, and potentially try to, like, remember any points of issue that I've heard about in the past, or, like, through our, hearing through the grapevine system of communication, if there's anything that we really need to be looking out for.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think history makes sense in this regard.
Mm-hmm.
Please go ahead and roll a history check for me.
No, killed it. 22.
Yeah,
Nice.
Absolutely. So using your history with the shepherds, trying to remember those elements of headings and stories and this kind of location. I'll narrate elements as you go along with what it is, like that, how that manifests. But a 22 is an obvious, definite success. So 1d4 for Andy. Anyone else? Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Oh, you go.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
You sure?
Hey.
Can I do a nature check to see just the path that we're going on, making sure just everything around is okay, like even little things like, is there poison ivy in our midst, or just making sure that our road ahead is clear and nature-free?
Yeah, so a nature check is 100%. So basically, in terms of like how we're going to look at this, at least for the first couple of days here, Nettie will take on the role of scout, and you'll kind of lead the party a little bit in terms of like making sure that the path ahead is clear. And nature totally makes sense. So go ahead and make a nature check, keeping an eye out and looking for natural hazards is a pretty big component to overland travel. There's all kinds of shit you can stumble into: razor vine, poison ivy, tracks of predatory animals. All these things are good to have an eye on before you stumble into something. So What'd we get?
13.
Okay, it's a success. Based on the DC.
Wizards of the Coast, I know you're watching this. I just wanted to say, why is nature int? Feels so wrong. Why is it intelligence? It should be wisdom. Rangers good at wisdom. Druids good at wisdom.
Right?
Typically, it's because you can make the argument for survival in versus nature in a lot of cases. They could be interchangeable, but
we won't make that argument here, Wizards. So get in our DMs, get in the chat, let us know.
Yeah, Enid, definitely. As you guys make travel, you'll be taking kind of point on the overland elements here. We need DeCrane and we need Augustus.
I can be a navigator. I can see, I have dark vision up to 60 feet. I can also hunt because I'm an expert marksman. So,
well, those are several different choices. So either you could try and take a perception check to try and be looking for kind of threats along the way using that perspective, and at night, basically taking kind of lead on the evening watches, given your circumstances. Like it does work out. So you could take perception in that regard, or I will allow for a secondary survival check here to become like a hunting challenge. You're tracking. You will succeed because of your expert marksman capabilities. You'll succeed on the hunt without needing to make that check, but it's a survival to see if you can track what you're looking for. So perception or survival is up to you.
I'm going to go with the hunt because I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll survival for us. And see if you can provide some food.
All right.
Or something.
So 7 roll. And I think my survival's 5, so 12.
Nice.
Okay, great. That is a success. Survival, and that takes DeCrane. So another D4 for you. And Augustus, how are you going to lead help the group?
I think I'm going to rely on perception, and I was thinking of using this in a couple ways. Either climbing a tree, looking for taller landmarks to climb up on, and keep looking for the path, maybe things to avoid or things to move for. And then through these days, you would notice that Augustus keeps taking out his little book and scribbling things in it. And it's because Augustus loves birds, and he's just been drawing little birds in his book. And so I think he'd be trying to look for those and maybe seeing there's migrating birds that typically move in a specific direction, if that's helping them stay on the course.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead and roll perception.
You got it.
Pardon me.
It's hiding behind 13.
13 total. Okay. Successes all around. So everyone go ahead and roll a D4.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna roll a real one.
4.
4.
4.
Wow.
2.
4.
Okay, so
3, 4.
as I said, that is going to basically cover the majority of this travel. It was always a risk to try and do this level of travel with the potential of hitting the mark. You didn't quite hit it because the overland travel is the further distance. And we will do a secondary skill challenge after the fact for basically the second part. But there's a lot less risk in that one because you only need to go 3 more days.
True.
Okay, so as you guys begin to make your way out of Darkvale on this super solidly confident path in the south-southeast direction towards Karden, you have to kind of make your way initially overland and skirt what is called the Exiles Range, this mountain range that kind of opens and circles up towards where the Grey Keep is, towards the path, the south road that you elected to avoid. And this Exiles Range leads into the Ashen Wastes or out of, depending on your direction. And as you guys begin to make your way not through there and not even directly to there, but you will basically reach the easternmost point of it based on the trajectory. And it's 3 or 4 days before you reach that initial point where you connect with the Exiles range, this kind of tip of the easternmost tip of the foothills of the Exiles range. Here, Andy, you do find sign of a shepherd. What are they called? Why can't I think of the word? They're markers. Yeah, waystone, exactly. Like there's a marker with several different symbols upon it that denotes like travel, forward, paths, headings, in a pseudo-druidic style language, or the thieves' cant almost, where it's like a pictograph-like language to determine that the way forward here, it's marking through the Exiles range, is dangerous and leads to like death, as the Ashen Wastes is only a couple of days through this range, and tales of the Ashen Wastes have reached all of your ears. But certainly, Andy, you are very familiar with the stories of the Ashen Waste and those shepherds who make that trek, and how treacherous it can be. So using that, like, you make sure to kind of basically steer clear and go the opposite direction. And you basically move from the first couple of days of like really quiet overland travel in this kind of tundra-esque expanse. There are a number of relatively quiet days in terms of weather. It's cool, but every day further south, it gets a little less so. It's this third or fourth night, about when you're in the foothills, that I'm going to cut into our safe travel of, what did it come out to? 14 days? 3 4s is 12, and yeah,
4 4 14.
and 2 is 14. Yeah, early on in the scheme of things, but as you guys are down for rest in one of these nights, as I said, it's been relatively quiet. And Decrane, you've not yet succeeded in your hunt. You've been keeping an eye out and looking for deer and elk and that kind of thing. Elk is more appropriate for this terrain. You've seen signs, but not been lucky enough to have caught up to anything just in the path of your travel and ultimately of your camps. But it's this fourth night when you are all basically bedded down for the night. You've had whatever meal you've decided to have, whether it's rations or good berries or however you want to go about this. The fire is down to embers. It's late in the evening. The weather is surprisingly warm for the evening for how north you are, actually. But the sky above is very clear. And you can see, just all of you see a brilliant sky of auroras that kind of cascade across in brilliant kind of purples and greens. And beyond the auroras above, in a cloudless sky, you see the constellations of Vigil, of these hundreds and thousands of stars that grace the sky. And quietly, you're all, like I said, you could likely be asleep at this point, but Decrane, you are a little different in that regard. In the evening's musings, looking at the stars and thinking about what it is you're doing, where you've come from, a pang of pain ripples through you, right in your gut. You've not felt hunger like this in, I don't know if ever. It is a similar pang that you felt the first night after leaving Darkvale, but it wasn't quite so potent. Now, several days beyond, only having so few traveling companions and no interaction beyond the four present, there has not been enough to sate you. And in this evening, with your companions likely asleep around you, and the auroras above maybe drawing any last threads of energy from you, you are at risk of going another couple of days without feeding, of falling asleep, and maybe not waking up.
Ooh.
What do you do?
Let me think about this. Okay.
I will clarify one element.
Okay.
You can push past. You can push past the need, as anyone can push past the need to sustain yourself. There will come a point where you can't. You're not there yet. You're not at starvation. You're not, grasping at, you're eating away at yourself. But your physiology is a little different. And thus the path there is a little different.
Okay, so first thing I want to try, can I get anything from the forest around me, the trees, or if there are any birds in the trees or animals around?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll investigation or survival, your choice.
Okay. Before I roll, let me see what my best one is. Okay, survival for sure.
Sure.
Investigation is 0. Okay, so 15 roll, or 12 roll, sorry. Plus 5, 17.
Okay. Before you start moving, in this moment, as you begin to kind of assess your options, do you feel panicked? Do you feel very just stoic and trying to think logistically your way out of this? What is the reaction?
I'm gonna say it's a bit strategic, but I'm gonna say there is an element of that, I guess I would compare it to a werewolf, sort of on the hunt, like the moon is out and now he needs to feed, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as you stand a little hurried and begin to very quickly assess your options, and you open your senses up to what's nearby. One of the elements of the location within that you're within, basically this is tundra and grassland, so you don't have a lot of vegetation beyond grass and low-lying shrubbery and the odd kind of thinner tree, and you would need such robust nature to pull from to sate you, that that's not an option. With a 17 survival, that the creatures in the area that you've seen, they're small, but you could certainly find your way to a den of rabbits nearby. You've seen the tracks, and you searched earlier to see if you could gather things for food, but there wasn't the urgency of it. The party's not starving, and it did feel weird to bring rabbits to the 2 heron guns for food.
Kind of rude, to be honest.
But now, a den of rabbits would certainly sate you. There would be at least a handful of them, if you wished to pursue that.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest course of action.
Okay. I would like perception from the rest of you at disadvantage, please.
Okay. God, I want to roll high on this. That's decent. That's the same roll.
I did.
You didn't? What did you roll?
No, I did. I rolled 24.
With disadvantage?
With disadvantage.
Jesus Christ, I rolled 16 with disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh.
Andy?
Enid.
Oh God! Don't even consider me. It's less than 10.
Okay.
It's 6.
And Decrane, Are you attempting to try and move away from the, like, you'll have to go off into the wilderness to do this, obviously, and it could be a couple of hours to like track and find the den. You don't have an immediate beat on that. You just know that they're in the area. It could take you time to do that. Do you like sneak away from the party, or do you just go?
I look at the party. I think like, yeah, they're pretty deep asleep. So I just go.
Okay.
I will say there's probably an alarm around us, but you would have been set to pass through it fine.
Good call out that for the alarm. But yes, as he can would have been set to walk away. That would have been super annoying if you didn't set the rest of your party to walk away from the alarm.
Every time someone has to pee in the middle of the night.
Yeah, just constantly waking up. Damn, you're a small bladder. Decrane, you just go. You go in the direction that you saw the tracks most recently. And a 17 will just keep that roll as your tracking to see if you find them. But Enid, whether you're a light sleeper or you weren't asleep yet, or what have you, Decrane just often huffed off quick into the forest. Not even forest, is into the darkness. And where you're resting is kind of open air. There's not a ton in terms of cover here. You're basically open tundra for days. Now, this is totally comfortable for most of your party, and actually pretty much all of you would be super comfortable with this. You have your bedrolls, you have levels of being able to give yourselves tents. You guys bought tents, actually, so you have tents to be covered from the elements, whether you choose to use them or not. But you catch Decrane just off into the darkness with a pretty pacey gait. Like he just goes, but says nothing.
Whoa, you must really have to take a shit.
You watch him stalk off into the darkness, and you don't hear much. Decrane moves relatively silently, and Decrane, it is a solid hour of looking for this den. I believe you have dark vision, but correct me if I'm wrong, because that might change things.
I have it.
Then that
60 feet.
That definitely helps into the night's hunt. But after about an hour, maybe a little longer, you lose a little bit of track of time. That hunger, it's starting to kind of eat away at you. And the way the hunger is pulling at you, it's making your normally like cat-like reflexes and your very smooth movements. You're tripping over small rocks on the ground. You're stumbling. Your hand is a little shaky. Your normally like super steady marksman hand, it shakes as you get close to this den. There's a junkie level quality to the hunger that you're feeling. But you found the den.
Okay. I'm going to, because I'm desperate. Like I need good sustenance. I'm going to go for the blood.
Okay.
What does that
as you get down to the ground and you look within the den, there are 2 adult rabbits and 4 baby rabbits in this
I
den.
don't know if I can listen to this. These are my people. Oh my god.
You can easily sate yourself if you take them all. If you eat the 2 adults, you'll be fine for a couple more days. But rabbits are not big.
I feel that would
Rabbits,
be
some
cruel
rabbits are
to the
big.
kids. So all of them.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is when I'm done, I'm going to take them back because they can then use them too.
Well, we'll see.
Like
Because
make it look like a hunt kind of thing. I could even I could
first
send
thing
them,
I need is a sleight of hand check from you, please.
Okay.
Sleight of hand to try and see if you can grab at some without waking the others and causing them to flee into the night, possibly costing you a meal.
Oh,
Two.
pal.
A 2.
Great.
And my sleight of hand is a 3.
He did say you're pretty weak. You're pretty, you don't got it.
It's your normal lightning speed. You your hand bumps into the top of the den, and you end up battering 2 of the smaller ones and waking all at once. In the fray, as they just begin to fucking fly out, and as rabbits do, they're fast as hell. You're able to grab one of the adults, and you have a chance to grab one of the bunnies, one of the babies. In desperation, you grab 2. The other 3 scatter into the evening and hop off at full, death-defying speeds. You have 1.5. It won't be enough to get you more than a night, 2 nights of sustenance, but it's better than this frenzy you're in. As you go for the blood, as you said, and you bear the fangs that are not, they're not even so much fangs as needles that descend from your incisors, and you sink your teeth in. You do feel the gush of blood across your mouth, this warmth that immediately sprays within, and you feel the immediate calm. That shakiness immediately abates, and the energy that is drawn through the fangs immediately, if anyone was watching, they would see your hair begin to stand up on end with static electricity, and all across your skin just this faint spark of energy. And where you pull the adult rabbit away, your plan of bringing it back to the party is probably more questions than you want asked, as the body is almost mummified and charred by the full evisceration of its energy. You look down at the bunny in hand, and you're still hungry.
I'm not gonna. It would be cruel to leave it. So,
a smaller meal, but nonetheless, it sates that last little bit of hunger. And now with these 2 husks that remain, do you just drop them and leave them here? Do you try to bury the evidence?
oh yeah, I'll bury the evidence.
Back into the den, and with swift stomps, you cave the den in atop them. And you look to your hands, steady as ever. About another hour, about 45 minutes to return to the party. Enid, would you have decided to wait to go to sleep until DeCrane had returned? Would you have considered that reason to stay up?
Knowing Enid, probably suspecting he had to use the washroom really badly. I don't think she would have stayed up though. Doesn't seem the type. If she's got sleep, she's taking advantage of it. So I would immediately go back to sleep.
Yeah. You return to a quiet camp. The embers flicker. The auroras continue their dance overhead, and you feel sated once more, wiping the blood from your chin, making sure your teeth are clear of any crimson stain alongside your uniform as well. And you settle in for another night. A few more days pass as we continue our journey south. You exit the Exile's Range and continue looking for... There are a few vantage points to Augustus's hopeful kind of watching for birds. You do see some birds that are migrating in an easterly direction. Go ahead and make a nature check yourself.
Which should be wisdom, because I rolled an 8.
They're difficult to identify. They move really fast. It's a fast bird. It's almost like an osprey-like bird. But unfortunately, you don't gather enough to know like where it's headed, why it's here, what its migratory pattern would be like. Unfortunately, yeah, it's you see these birds overhead, and you're able to probably get like a good approximation on paper, given that there would have been a couple, but you don't know exactly what it is. Osprey-like is the best you could say.
So cool.
They do have these like dagger-like beaks. That is just very evocative as you draw. Let's see. As you guys have cleared so much terrain. I'm just going to keep talking. You cross from this Exiles Range area and into the barony of the Growling Hills, the barony in which Grill is situated, much further to the east, and would have been not quite north of where you are. You would actually be on a loose trajectory in its path, but you will navigate south of it.
Let's go around.
Pretty comfortably, you make your way south of it. But the Growling Hills are so named because they are an area populated by a larger than average amount of beasts and creatures. They can be difficult to navigate without care, and certainly not somewhere you want to be taking livestock without some extra muscle.
Good thing we're kind to all bestial creatures at this party.
Of course.
As I just rolled for the encounter, but I'm wondering if I should let you guys roll or if I should just roll. That's fine. I've already rolled. It's happened.
Roll initiative.
In the Growling Hills, it's been about like 10 days of travel before we get to the final couple of days, as you make your way, like kind of that turn south now really properly happening. You'll meet up with the Hoofers Road where you took north to Grill in the next 2 or 3 days. Is there anything you guys would have wanted to do? How do you pass the time individually? Any conversations or things you'd want to have had in camps over the last couple of nights, or things to help pass through the day?
Especially seeing Andy clock that sign earlier, the waystone with the shepherds. Augustus wants to ask her about it. So I think he would pick a moment somewhere on this travel and be like, Andy, are you a shepherd? Do you...
Yeah, I've been a shepherd for a number of years, yeah.
Okay. What does that mean exactly?
It's,
Do you have sheep or goats? Or...
No, I mean, the shepherds are either the loose groups of travelers. There are like initiation kind of things, but it's more of a way of life, and you just end up with a heading, like a group, a heading, and it's more about, it's like being part of a community. We don't live in one place. I mean, some people, join the shepherds for a little bit and then go home to a different place, but you just live on the road. You have your heading around you. They're like your family. And you live your life always on the move.
So, do you consider yourself a shepherd now?
Yeah, it's I'm on like you guys call it like a walkabout. You can be on your own, and trying to find your own way and your own path. It's kind of part of the whole journey. If you want to move on to anything else.
Is the crane a shepherd?
Oh no, he's not at all. No.
Okay.
He's we just kind of ended up meeting up, and I was wanting to travel on my own, and he needed to get somewhere, and I knew kind of loosely where I was going. And he's I don't think he's from around here. He didn't really seem to know where we were. Yeah. So I mean, he's very handy with that weapon on his hip, and I'm not. And traveling alone is very risky, very dangerous. I'm sure you guys know Nar2, right? Like the two of you.
Yeah, we didn't do too much traveling. This may be the furthest we've been from home, maybe that we know of. I think. Would you say, Nettie?
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't really remember much, but I'm pretty confident this is the furthest we've been.
Your little staff, you've got a symbol. Is that the shepherd god?
Yeah, he's god of a couple of things, but a lot of travelers generally will pray for safe passage, for knowledge of what could be coming up for you. Koros is to me.
Sure.
In ways, I mean, that's what I'll kind of show like a couple of my tattoos on my arm, and one that you like swear was not in that spot the day before, like you thought it was on the other arm. And it's all little constellations, and it's I mean, for me, a lot of it is just trying to read the stars. You know, he can leave messages in the stars for you, and they help guide your way. That's a big thing for, I mean, at least our head is pretty big on finding your way by the stars.
Cool, neat.
It's I'm nowhere near. I mean, I'm sure there's people who apparently properly talk to him. I'm not there. But.
Cool. He must really like you to help. You know, when the ship was sinking, he must have been like, "No, that ship's not sinking. I'm gonna send her with some powers."
Yeah. Maybe. Lots of stories.
Sometimes I think I hear the wind talk.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, yeah, like words or like.
Sometimes it's like singing or like just like loose whispers and stuff. You know.
A little creepy, but I mean, kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice.
Yeah. What about your little friend here? Where did they come from?
Ray?
Yeah.
I don't know. Ray's just kind of been always around. Ever since Nettie and I can remember, or at least she was just a light that's been with me. It's been kind of followed me around.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah, Ray and Toot Sweet. They've just always been with us.
Always. Toot Sweet's always been with. For how long is always?
Don't know. Since, I guess, as long as we can remember.
We've been with our parents since, I don't know, like the last 10 years? So...
10-year-old squirrel.
Yeah, he's too sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to, in real life, remember how long a squirrel's lifespan is. And I don't think it's 10 years.
It's too sweet.
Okay.
Toot Sweet.
See,
Right. I mean, proven helpful so far, so.
yeah. And I mean, Ray's gotten the berries for us, so she's been so helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's like a couple moments where throughout it after this conversation, one of the nights I'm gonna just pop detect magic and look at this and squirrel that can't die, and this little bubble of light.
The vibe, at least for Augustus and probably Nettie too, not to speak for you, but like never considered stuff like this. Never thought too hard about like, I wonder where Ray came from.
Yeah. Like, why is the sky blue? I don't know. This is.
Not something that they've spent a lot of time thinking about.
I will say, under detect magic, when you do cast it, You've noticed this before. You've done this exact situation before, where Enid's belly button ring has had a flare of magic to it in a conjuration school. Likewise, Toot Sweet has a magical conjuration aura about him or them, and Ray does not have a school of magic associated. If anything, there's the faintest evocation element, but I would say that she doesn't. The aura around Ray doesn't become school based. Like, it doesn't become classically magical in terms of a summons sort of situation, but there is an innate magic to her that is evident through detect magic, in that whatever she is, there is magic within her. But that's kind of, there's a lot of creatures that have an innate magic that would have this like level of like pop to them in under this investigation. In some ways, you would have this element to you if someone looked close enough.
I think to that note, especially on those nights where the sky is really, really clear, immediately, Andy's a nervous person, generally. If there is a super clear night, those nerves come way the fuck down. Like, she's consistently looking up at the sky and the stars, and especially if there was a night with the auroras, like, immediate comfort. And you'd also notice on the clearest nights with really bright, not when the moon's really bright, but when the stars are really bright, if she ever takes off her hat or any of her cloaks, because we're all up, any of the tattoos visible, or especially her freckles, kind of start to glow a little bit, like under a black light.
So cute. Love it.
That's
But
so
only
cool.
wherever the light's hitting her. So that's why she has her big hat all the time, is because it stops the light from hitting her. But and she's not actively hiding it, but she's also so used to, trying to keep that from being obvious that it's only every now and then.
I will say, weather-wise, it's actually been pretty clear for the majority of the journey. You've had like very minor weather to speak of, a couple of days of light rain, like misty more than anything. Like, it's actually been really nice, given you're in what is essentially the mid to late fall season. And actually, at this point, you might be coming properly into late fall. It's been warmer than average, and each evening over the 14 evenings of relative calm, the skies have been more than 60% clear. Like, you've had a lot of clear nights, and a lot of time to look up to the constellations and see the passage of time. Like, you have a very solid understanding of what time of year it is, given the constellations, and your positioning is on track each evening that you're watching the stars and looking. When you take a moment to really sit and think on your training as a shepherd, in terms of the positioning of you and the stars, you're on the right path. You guys haven't really veered from your proper trajectory, there's been there's been a comfort to looking up to seeing the gate constellation overhead this time of year. This classic, very basically the same as your symbol, an arch of 6 stars with a 7th in the middle that seems to shine a little brighter. And every now and again, it has a little different coloration to it, depending on the time of year and where you're looking at it. And thus far, it's had this green hue to it, that middle star, ever so faintly. If you watch it long enough, you see this kind of green element to it, that you've always taken to mean like you're on the right path. The way forward will be clear. It's been a comfort. So that calmness that comes after so much time being anxious and nervous in the cities and your reasons for being here, that has, I'd say, pretty strongly abated over the last 10, 14 days that you've been walking and traveling with these people. Certainly helps that you guys rolled so high on those D4s, because there's been fucking nothing happening.
Yeah, I think when she's in the city, she's like trying to not appear as tall, like just not hunched completely, but just obviously is hackles are up, but also trying to make herself small. And as she relaxes, she comes up to her full height.
8'7", towering above the
like
city.
6'5", 6'6".
Before we get to the 14th day of safe travel and something fun happens, there have been several nights that have passed since Decrane has you've eaten, and that hunger pang does begin to rise, and you feel it coming on again and again. Another night. This time, I rolled for it. Earlier than everyone being asleep, do you feel the pang? And in fact, you're not even at camp yet. Collectively, it's maybe 3 in the afternoon when you if you weren't so stoic all the time and so in tune with your physicality and the world, it would cause you to double over in pain, like you've just been sucker punched in the solar plexus. Like how sudden it comes on. But given your willpower, it hurts, but you don't outwardly show too much. It also helps that the rest of your party has dog shit insight. You feel that hunger, though. 3 in the afternoon. You still have several hours before you guys would normally make camp. At this point, I will say as well, we're a little later on, a little bit more narration to how far you've traveled. At this point, you're coming right to the cusp of the end of the barony of the Growling Hills, and possibly in conversation, Andy, certainly you would have stories of various bestial encounters in the Growling Hills, whether they were shepherd encounters or classic tales of monsters and beasts of this barony. In theory, you would also have some potential information if you thought longer about it, in terms of the baronies themselves. That's information you potentially would have if you wanted to kind of talk about it, if that was something that would come up, but don't feel the need to do so. The transition, though, here, the path you've actively decided to try and skirt as far away from Grill as possible. So it's taking you a little further from what would normally be the trajectory from the Growling Hills into the Kinglands proper. And the Kinglands extend as far east and as far west as Candorne runs. But there's a point about midway down where the barony of the Growling Hills, the lands of the Carlisle family, were bequeathed to them by the king several hundred years ago. But there's a point at which this transition happens, and it's marked by a wall called the Glory's Gate. And it's a wall that extends the entirety of the Kinglands, which are the royal...
Glory's
Gate.
Gotcha.
And it's this, you would have passed beneath this on your way north to Grill. You would have passed through it up from Marabella and from your various travels. Actually, I suppose this would be the first time Decrane has seen these, given your trajectory here. You've not been, no, you guys went to Karden, so you would have been in Karden and come north here, sorry. You all travel from Karden to Grill, my apologies. But it is not a barrier wall in terms of like 20 foot, 30 high walls. They're not protective walls. They're symbolic. They stand about 10 feet, and they're wide enough to have someone walk across them. But realistically, they are more a place for symbolic that you're entering into holy lands. The king's lands are considered holy in that the king and the line of the king, the McCarran line, is the line of Kieran, this god of honor and war, and the right to lead in Candorne is based purely on this holy lineage, and thus these lands denote that as the Glorious Gate runs its way fully around the barony, which is the kinglands. You haven't quite reached it at this point, that this is all happening, but it will be your next kind of point of your landmark that you would all kind of recognize, given your skill sets, will be by the next day or so. You'll reach this. But as I was kind of saying, given the fact that you actually actively are kind of skirting further away from Grill, you end up on the border of Kinshire, which is this small barony to the west, that has been kind of segmented off from the Kinglands and bequeathed to, actually, there's no reason for any of you to know the history of that, but you do know the name Kinshire as this newer barony in Candorne. And it's, as you're kind of skirting on this path towards Kinshire to keep as far away from Grill as you can, that you'll kind of come in on a different angle into Karden than you initially probably intended, but you all recognized probably smarter to make that wider berth. And it's about this point where you're right on the border of the Growling Hills into Kinshire at about 3 p.m. when this pang of severe hunger spikes into Crane. Again, given the passives of the party, I don't think anyone's insight is high enough to really catch that suddenly this change comes over you. Enid would be ahead of the party, scouting and looking for anything of particular note. And just as you're walking at this point in the day, maybe you're looking for the best place to settle down for the evening. Maybe you're looking for the best camp for the evening, but it's still a little early even for that. But more importantly, to Crane, what do you do in this moment?
So, doing a quick look around, there are no creatures or anything around, is there?
Make a
Like even
perception.
a cow or...
Sure. Make a
There's
perception
three
check.
creatures around. 3 creatures around you.
Okay, let's see. 8
8.
and perception 5. 13.
Not bad at all. Given this kind of crossing over the borders, it's not even a marked border. I think the only reason that you would know this is because Andy noted a shepherd marker maybe an hour or two ago. That would have been kind of a triangulation point to say, like, hey, you're crossing into this barony. Heads up. Relatively new marker. And just but no notes of danger or anything like that. But it was just enough to trigger all this information. With a 13, you are one of the elements of Kinshire is a rise up towards mountains on the south. And so you're kind of in lowlands that will reach up into what is known as the Silver Highlands. And as you look up and away, as you see this kind of rising hills ahead of you towards the mountains to the south, you do see farms. They're not immediately next to you, but if you traveled more southerly than you were initially intending to, you could get your way to farms within the next, by camp, you could make your way there.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to tell everyone, okay, we need to begin thinking about where to camp. I'm going to go investigate those lands there. Stay close. Stay together. Don't initiate any attacks without me being there.
Who are we attacking? Okay.
I don't know why I'm pretty sure we would never. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Why do you look so, like, gaunt all of a sudden?
Oh, is this like the other night where you had the shits?
What?
Yeah.
Did you have an upset tummy?
Sure.
Make a deception check at disadvantage for that very awful sure.
Sure.
Okay, first roll 11. And
Okay.
second roll 14.
So we
And-
keep the 11. What's your deception?
Deception +1.
Is anyone's insight higher than 12? Or 12, I should say. 12 or higher.
My passive 16.
Oh, yours isn't bad. Your passive insight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I still think not
My
high enough to
passive is
catch the
16 as
initial
well.
reaction.
Yeah.
Because he's a very stoic person. You're very easily distractible.
I'm very
Enid, sorry, what was yours?
sorry, is it passive with insight? Oh, 12.
Okay, so you both are high enough to kind of catch that if it was that he has to take a shit and that there's a problem bowel wise,
downstairs.
there's kind of no reason to hide that. And if it's not that would have been such an easy out. Why is he being weird?
When you say sure.
He's probably trying to keep his cred. You know, look cool,
Oh.
right? He's got to maintain his image.
Why don't you do what you need to do? No problem here.
It's all good. We're all mammals.
Thank you. Don't worry about me. Let's just make sure we have somewhere safe. These lands can be full of surprises.
Okay. Did he say thank you when you said we're all mammals?
Whoa. You must really want us to know.
DeCrane begins like a beeline south in the direction of civilization. I will also say it's like a ways away. It's not like it's like 10-minute jaunt. It's a solid hour. Like you might get there by like 5 o'clock as sun is beginning to set. And he's making a hard beeline to the three of you as well as the survivalists and Shepherd like heading knowledge. This would take you like off the path, not terribly so, but it's not expedient by any means to make this detour.
We should go with him if he's just gonna. If he's embarrassed, we don't have to be that close, but can't just leave him alone. It's gonna be like an hour walk over there.
We don't mind going.
Let's just follow at a safe distance. I don't want to embarrass him if it's strange he has to do.
I mean, it seems a little odd to like go ahead of us in that direction. What if we don't want to go? Or what if we do go there? Then why wouldn't we just go together?
Maybe it's just so.
That's not how you be a scat.
Let's just follow from a safe distance. Maybe, keep it 100 yards. We can just keep an
Give
eye on them.
give him like a 5-minute lead. Just
Okay. But
like
now,
I don't want to.
let's
I don't want to
spy
like.
on him.
I don't hear that.
It's just so he knows that we're there for him without him knowing we're there.
Okay. Waiting 5 minutes before pursuing DeCrane, you start on this beeline towards civilized, small civilization, but you can see farms, you can see pens, fenced lands where you can see cattle. Certainly would be here. Knowing you're looking for a larger meal, you could certainly find some cattle, and that would immediately kind of catch your eye.
Any goats around, or is it just cows? Cows okay, but I'm just wondering, is there a goat by any chance?
Dude,
around?
You'd
Goat
have to
preference?
get you'd have to get a little closer. it's easy to spot a cow at a distance. A goat is a little smaller. It'd be difficult to determine whether it's a goat or a calf, even with your impressive eyesight. But given the sheer distance we're talking about here, like you're more seeing the like fencing and the open like field than you are seeing individual creatures. You're just gathering, you're putting pieces together that there's farms, therefore there's probably livestock.
Okay, so immediate priority, just go to the closest looking creature, and
Okay.
I will not eat the blood. I will just take the energy this time.
You got it. Like I said, it's a ways off. So you begin this hard march. I'd like just a Constitution check from you, please. So D20 plus whatever your Constitution modifier is.
Okay, so 15 roll.
Great.
And what?
Just your modifier for Constitution, not a saving throw.
Const modifier plus 1.
Sorry, what'd you roll?
15.
Okay.
So 16 total.
Yeah, it's just that classic stoicism and like soldier's bearing of like, I have a goal, I'm gonna get the goal done without considering like I need to slow. I should be careful. I should be slower. I should like consider what's happening. Like it's just one foot in front of the other. Go, go, go. And the three of you behind watch this literal like straight shot as he goes directly towards these farms. And over the next like hour and a half of walking,
really far.
He's several minutes ahead of you, as decided, and the sun is setting beyond. Which side it would be setting? On your left. No, rises in the east. On your right.
Does it here though?
Yeah.
Does it rise here? Okay.
It's just easier that way. Decrane, you make it to the edge of a field, like of penned, a paddock of cows. They're not immediately up against the fence. You'd have to get inside the fence, but there's, easily a dozen within range here. What I will ask for is a stealth check to try and get close.
Okay.
I'm not going to roll for the cow, but I will
14 roll.
Stealth check for cow tipping.
Cow perception. Cow
Are there
perception.
14 and my stealth is plus 5, so 19 total.
Not bad.
Passive perception of 10 does not do it. You're able to get close. That jitteriness has not yet taken over your kind of gait. And as I was kind of describing that your constitution, you are in control enough to get your faculties. You get close. You get up to one of these cows. And as you stated, you're going to go just for energy more than blood. And what I'll give you is there's a dozen creatures here. You could open up and take a little from each. It will take longer. Or you can make a targeted energy draw on a single target and get it done as like an action over a couple of action in terms of like seconds. Otherwise, the full like extend out for how much you need to take in is going to be a couple of minutes.
So first of all, if I drain one creature, like I guess that creature just goes to sleep, right? Like they're just.
Yeah, it's not a kill.
Okay.
You can drain them to the point of death.
No.
But that will take time in single target like draining. But if you just do like a targeted like consumption, they make a save versus kind of like a stun that will lead to unconsciousness after a couple of rounds.
And that would like main thing is I want to be full energy, like fully.
It will take 1 minute on one target to be full at this point. Or you could do like 5 to 10 minutes over a series of creatures, which doesn't have the same like drop effect. Like it's like a slow drain from them. So like there wouldn't be as big of a reaction from the targets if you just kind of slowly consumed from the dozen creatures, because they're big creatures, but it will take 5-10 minutes to get what you need. Or you could do it in 1 minute on one target.
And that would just knock them out, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll just do the one.
Okay. Unfortunately, given the time allotted to keep your distance, I'd like a perception check from all three of you with disadvantage. In theory, you could give your check to another and cancel their check out to a straight roll, or you could all roll with disadvantage.
I already rolled twice.
I did too. Oops.
No, that's fine.
Disadvantage 11 for me.
Okay.
Disadvantage 17 for me.
Nice.
Good. And terrible for Andy. Yep. A 17 with like your hunter's eyes, and as you get closer, you would catch the tail end of what I describe here. Is what I'll say. Is you catch the tail end of whatever the crane is up to. The crane, as you make that snap decision rather quickly, whether you want to take out the group over time or make a fast feed. You've made your way right up close, and very calmly you reach out. No excited energy comes off of you, just this kind of purpose-driven point. And you put a hand to the side of the cow, and you feel immediately the waves of energy. You can feel the heartbeat. You can feel the blood coursing through the veins. You can sense that it's calm. You can sense that it's not afraid. You can sense that it's, if anything, is tired. And you can feel as you begin to draw on its energy. It begins to course through your hand, through your extended limbs. And again, you can see, almost like raised through your veins, it begins to flow, this energy through you. And there's just the faintest of auras around your hand. If you were close enough, you could see this aura, and as it begins to fully go up your arm. Over the next minute, the cow looks back at you a couple of times, but it's not spooked. And the more that you are there, the drowsier it gets, and you watch it drop to its front two legs drop, and you kneel next to it. It's a tender moment. And you can feel that energy transfer happen. You feel that tingling of static electricity that rubs up the spine when you feel you're coming to the end of feeling sated. And again, the hair begins to kind of lift in that weightless energy, and the faint sparks of energy, and you can feel you're at the point now of fully drained this creature, and it now kind of falls over in front of you. You have a moment where you could choose to drain its full life force. You can kill this creature like this, and it'll sate you a d6 days.
I was actually gonna... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Or you can walk away with what you have.
I was gonna ask if... So let's just say hypothetically, I'm at 95% or something, or 90% on my meter.
Mm-hmm.
I leave this cow, and can I just take the remaining 5% from another cow? Or...
Definitely. You can definitely walk away and continue to another. I'm going to ask for a roll.
Sure.
To see if you spook the others, because now you've suddenly, you've been here for a minute, but this one just suddenly fell over. That would be a sign of questioning, concern, even from cows. And so the roll is going to be an animal handling check.
Okay. 16 roll.
16.
And Animal handling is +3, so 19.
Oh my god.
The remaining 11 who are conscious, they like kind of move a little and kind of like look down at the other cow and they go and like kind of sniff it a little and just kind of like, what the fuck happened to him? But they're more focused on the other cow and not on you. And you are able to use the next minute to like top up off of one or two of these other creatures. And yeah, you feel sated for at least another couple days. I would say, that by the time you all catch up, Jacrane, you're already leaving. Like you're kind of already walking back out of the pen over the fence again, and returning to the rest of the crew. And it's not like you guys get close, but I don't think that there's anything that would immediately kind of catch your attention. Like you look and just see some cows. One of them's laying down. 11 of them are just standing. It's nothing crazy. But Enid, I think you would have definitely seen that element of, like, there would have been a little bit of like an aura, a light, a spark that you kind of caught with a higher perception before he comes back.
Is the crane? So do we stay there in the pen?
You found a good spot?
I think this would be a safe place to lay camp.
Potentially, yeah. The one thing to keep in mind is if the people who own these cows in my past tend to come out, they might be a little suspicious of us hanging out right by them. People tend to be nervous of people stealing their livestock, especially in areas like this. But maybe like 5 minutes that way, slightly farther away from the pen.
We can definitely go on the other side of the fence. The other thing is, do we need provisions? Because we can take a cow.
Right, but these cows belong to somebody else.
It's okay.
I don't think it is. Like, these are just like farmers. This is just their livestock. Number one, cows are expensive, and these people probably work hard for them. So that's not really great. But also, stealing livestock's like a really big, like, law, typically.
Nettie and I grew up on a farm, and it's a big no-no.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with people and their cows. No.
Cattle people are like, specifically cattle people. Oof. Ranchers, they can be scary.
I will heed your advice at this moment. We can set up camp a few minutes away.
I think you'd get along with like the cowboys for some reason. I feel like you'd be one of them. You'd do great.
Sure,
you'd be a great rancher.
Let's meet. If we can meet them, that would be great.
I'll try and saddle up next to the crane as we're like walking to camp and be like, you can just ask, like Nettie or I. I ate bad berries once, and it just ruined me for like 3 days. So if you just see something, you're hungry, just let us know, and we'll tell you what to eat, what not to eat.
I appreciate that, and I would like some guidance and good food in this area I'm not familiar with. But when it came to the cattle, it's a different story. They say that when a warrior dies... Sorry.
Why are you laughing?
No.
Emotional? Is it emotional for you?
I'm not laughing. Okay.
When a warrior dies?
When a warrior dies, they say a spirit is reborn in the cattle of the land. And I have unique abilities to draw on the knowledge that these warriors still carry with them in their souls.
Oh my God.
Sorry, make a deception check. But I'm gonna give you advantage because you kind of came back around where I like it.
I'm into it.
Like
I'm
it
into
started weird, and I was like, no shot. But then I kind of came to like it.
I have no reason to doubt this. I completely accept it.
No!
God
You
damn
have
it.
advantage.
It's a 1.
You have
He has advantage?
Yeah,
Roll again.
I,
Okay,
I
roll
liked it enough to give you advantage.
Don't get another one.
No, not 4.
Well, it's not good.
3 above.
I'm gonna roll only because I am trying to pinpoint if I've heard these stories before, like purely from an interest of stories side. But
No.
her insight's trash, so.
Totally fair. Please roll. Augustus,
good.
you don't
Super
believe
gullible.
this, but even you're like, this feels like bullshit. Like it just doesn't. Like why? Is he trying to sound cool? Like trying to be cooler than he is? Like it's more that not even that you don't believe the story, more that you're like, you don't believe he believes the story.
Remember, the Crane's young, so there is a bit of arrogance and know-it-allism
Sure.
to him, too.
Am I the oldest? Have we talked about this already?
Yes.
Heck,
Leah, what was your?
Good point. Good point.
Because of a -1 insight, it's only a 7.
Decrane, what's your deception total from a 4?
Oh.
Deception?
4 and sorry, it was 1, 5.
You have not heard this story because it doesn't feel like a real story. It feels like he's piecing it together as he like in the same way Kevin Karanja is piecing that bullshit together as he was talking. Decrane was grasping at some fucking straw.
They die. Become cows.
Okay, I mean, I've heard like some people really like horses and think that like, war horses. Cows is a new one. I haven't heard that one before.
Because cows feed on the earth.
Hmm.
And they say that warriors come from the ground.
Right, but horses, I mean, all pack animals kind of feed on the earth. I'll have to think about that one. That one's interesting. Where did you hear this? Like, is this from like a story from growing up?
No, on my travels, I've met many ranchers, and I've met many cowboys.
You've met many cows?
We just explained what
Cowboys.
a cowboy
Oh,
was.
okay.
Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna ask some people about that one. I think next time I'm.
I
Should we
believe
have
it.
dinner? I'm kind of hungry after following you for so long and just.
I think would be a good time now. Yes. Would you like me to hunt for something?
No, Ray's got actual like good berries we could just use, so that's fine. They're good berries.
Definitely no cows.
Would you like? I can get rabbits. I can hunt birds.
I never
I'm
want you to
sorry,
hunt.
rabbit?
You say?
Have you seen us?
I apologize. I was not thinking when I said that.
It's all right. It's fine. It's just never.
I get you're trying to be cool, but watch it.
Easy, Nettie, easy. But yeah,
I overstepped my bounds. I apologize.
Thank you. Apology accepted.
I mean, if you want to keep an eye out, if there's cattle and stuff, there might be like wolves or coyote, like something. There could be prey animals, and I mean, if you take one of them out, that could be helping other farmers.
I don't mind taking out coyotes, but to eat them, I would warn you because they are the trash of the earth.
I mean, like mange can be a problem. Yeah, it kind of depends on how you prepare it. Yeah, you're right. Maybe just like a deer. Like deer's safe. Yeah.
just no animals murdered. No animals. Totally fine.
Okay, right now I guess we're well supplied, but when
Yeah.
the time comes, I will bring us something.
Nettie, what are with these people?
Actually, that's a question. Are you guys vegetarians? Have we seen you?
I don't know if we ever actually talked about that.
I think Augustus is deciding right. Well, I am deciding for Augustus that he's a vegetarian in this moment because I don't think he could handle it.
Yeah, I imagine Enid is too.
Yeah, plant-based diet.
Okay,
Makes sense.
so we'll note that.
You do.
I've eaten everything.
You find camp comfortably. and we continue another day in Kinshire before reaching the Kinglands, and you will reach them by the end of this day, as we reach our 14th day. The end of this day would be your last day before getting to Karden. Tomorrow you will be by like mid to late afternoon making your way into the city. As we begin this day, I'm going to roll randomly for the weather. My dice went way over there.
I love that I can always hear it through the floor, just scatter every time.
I'm holding like a pen and I go to reach for my dice. I'm just done. Let's see. A surprisingly warm morning greets you. The further south you've gotten, it's gotten warmer, but today it's still fall, and yet the temperature is like almost reaching up into like 30 degrees. Like it's really warm.
Dang.
The
Celsius,
morning,
PS American listeners, please do conversion yourself.
Celsius, of course. I don't care what Fahrenheit is.
It's too complicated. I don't understand it.
The day greeted you clear and warm, as I said, and you continued in this kind of southeasterly direction over these continued grassy hills and fields, and began to make this ascent. Is basically as you reach further and further south, the Kinshire and over to the Kinglands and Karden sits up on a higher plane on these mountain ranges. So everything begins to kind of become an uphill climb. And as you're traveling about like midday, you reach an expanse of grassland. We've been traveling mostly in grassland pretty much this whole way, with the exception of a couple of foothills. But what catches this particular moment, there are 3 ponds that you're kind of walking towards, and you can see these 3 ponds that are separated by kind of natural land bridges between. But these 3 ponds that are differing sizes, but it's the first kind of, it's a little bit of an odd layout. Like it looks like it's the way that it seems either man-made or seems like not something that naturally would have formed here. So it kind of catches your attention enough to like just go towards, at the very least, just to like kind of poke around. And as you guys get closer, indeed, the ponds themselves are crystal clear water, incredibly clear water. And all around are these reeds, kind of odd plants. In the water, you can see fish kind of swimming. And it's just kind of an odd spot. And as you kind of just fan out and just walk around, who has the highest passive perception?
I have 16.
15. Oh, wait. Yeah.
So
at the same time, both Herringons, as you're kind of walking astride one another, you both point into the water. You both see like a spark of something shiny, like something really shiny just sparkles. And it catches the light in such a way that you're both just immediately drawn to whatever this shiny thing is.
Ooh. Do you see that, Nettie? Can I try and go a little closer to it to get a look at it?
It's in the middle of the pond, like down deep in the water. But the water itself is so clear that you can see right down to like the sediment and rock. And amidst the rock, it looks like a hunk, like a decent sized chunk of metal or something that like has this sheen that is refracting the light and caught your eye immediately.
Nettie, you wait there. I'm gonna go check this out. And then let me see if I have any like little spellsies that I can. I just, P.S. I didn't just put Allie in a corner. If you're listening to this, Allie just had to step out for a second. Can I? How deep does it look?
It looks like 20 feet, 15 feet. Like it's surprisingly deep at the I don't know, the lowest point where this is kind of sunk into.
Do you guys think I should go in and get it? It could be something cool like treasure. Is there just one of them in one, or is it one in each?
You can go ahead and make a investigation check.
I'll look around. Yeah.
I'll also point out, if someone else wants to, while he's doing this, the plants that are on the outskirts, they kind of catch your eyes as a little different, a little odd. Like you've not seen them necessarily before, and there are these reeds at the top. There are kind of green. They almost look like green pustules, which is seemingly gross, but they are. Like some have 3 or 4, some have one really big one. They're just kind of odd plants that are kind of all around each of the ponds. If you wanted to check those out as well, DeCrane or Andy, you're free to.
So funny aside, I definitely should have been the one to check those out, but I'm checking out these things. We're just going to follow what this character would do.
You can also wait. Yes, investigation for you. You can also wait and see if Enid or Augustus want to look at this once he's done looking at the ponds. As Enid just sprints off into the middle of nowhere, away from you. Just take a shit.
She said it earlier. Yeah, maybe she has to take a little poop. Everybody poops. I rolled 17 on investigation.
Okay, great. In this first one, you see like kind of a smallish, not smallish chunk, but something small that is sparking. You go up to the kind of next one pretty confidently. You don't see much of anything. You kind of circle back around to the one that would be to the right of the first. And you see, with a decent roll, what looks almost like a gauntlet. A good-sized gauntlet that is half like buried, half embedded in sediment and rock, but where it is exposed in the very bright and warm sun above, it is like refracting a light, and at this distance, like you can see, like it's not rusted, like it's shiny.
Andy, there's something shiny in here. It looks like a cool metal, like glove.
Okay. I normally would try to see if it's magical. I can't do that right now. I need 11 minutes of old-fashioned praying to try to look at it better, but I could if you want. Wait, actually, what's the range on detect magic? 1 second.
Well, she's talking
30.
While she's talking, Augustus is just taking off his coat.
Right down.
Cool. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Wait. I mean, I guess alternatively, I could take 11 minutes to try and figure out what it is. Once you get it, are you just gonna jump it in a mysterious? I mean, it's up to you, man.
I'm gonna jump in the water and try and get it.
You dive into the water, and it's nice and cool. It's actually pretty refreshing given the heat of the day. It's not like frigid, but it's nice. You swim down, and DeCrane and Andy, you guys watch on the sidelines as with pretty good swimming stroke, like Augustus, you dive down into this kind of middle bottom of this pond, which is 15-20 feet deep.
I'll have Ray just like circling above the pond, just like floating above it.
Yeah, actually helps to kind of add some extra light, like that's a little targeted as you get closer. The closer and closer you get, the water's so clear here, it does help. But yeah, you can see it's basically it's much bigger than your paw would be, your hand would be. It's an impressive sized gauntlet, at least part of it. But it's like embedded deep into like the sediment. You'd have to kind of clear elements away before you could try and unearth it. If that's your intent, go ahead and make an athletics check.
Let's do it. not good at this, but it's a natural 20.
Perfect.
It's great.
You begin to kind of clear away the larger bits of rock, and you plant your feet into the kind of ground.
My staff too.
Use the staff to lever off these like larger chunks of rock. And indeed, it doesn't like float or anything. Obviously, it's very heavy. But you clear a full gauntlet, full 5 fingers, the gauntlet, and it is. You're not even sure that it would fit a human-sized hand. Like, it's bigger than that, or at the very least, it's larger than everything. Looks large to you. You're small, but
Yes.
It seems even bigger than you expect.
Do I see any like there's no dismembered limb in it or anything like that? It does just look like it's the metal thing.
So where you begin to kind of clear away, the kind of it's got like a pointed bracer as like it's connected to the full gauntlet. That part is still like embedded in the ground.
Okay.
So you're able to get like the hand part up, and you're like lifting from there. You can kind of move in and try and lift from the middle with your staff and everything. And with a natural 20, digging all this in and jamming in your staff. I'm trying to decide how long this has taken you to do this in terms of you're holding your breath. You're underwater. Yeah. So you can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus your Constitution modifier. So how many?
3.
What's your Constitution? Your Constitution modifier is 3.
So 2, so 3. Yeah.
3 minutes. So I'm gonna say it's been 1 to like clear away and like begin this impressive kind of lift. So it's been about a minute as you guys are watching from outside. And as you jam your staff in, you're lifting up, the arm begins to kind of rise. You're getting success, but it is now pivoting on like the point that it's stuck in the sediment. And as now you're underneath it enough to kind of like now plant your feet in and like put your hands on either side of this massive gauntlet and like lift to try and pull it free. You're heaving, tensing so hard, and the hand closes and grabs hold of the fur of your
Bubbles
chest.
everywhere.
Because you rolled a natural 20,
Sure.
you helped clear enough of this creature to free it enough.
You're welcome.
And you begin to see as this hand holds your chest fur, and you watch a full arm begin to extend, and where it like lifts from the ground, the earth begins to break away from this long sunken knight golem thing. You see an armored plated face and chest with this blue light that begins to glow from beneath. Out of the pond, you see like blue light begin to encircle Augustus, and a hand like holding him at his neck, throat, and like chest, and its grip is iron vice. And it begins to like pull itself up. You see that this helm that is like a classic knight's helm with like the gated plate, and behind it all you see is like blue light of no eyes, but like a light bar just like beaming out. All of the metal is shimmering in this almost cobalt blue, more than like platinum or metal, and it is caked in sediment, but as it begins to move, like it's falling away, and it's pure perfect metal. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh no. We're gonna be friendly.
Turn off the Skyrim exploration music.
As we roll initiative, let's take a break here. I got to pee anyways, and hopefully we can get Allie back. So let's just take a quick pause, and we'll be back to see what the fuck happens here. As we return, Augustus has been grabbed by what seemed like just a gauntlet suddenly, given his natural 20, unearthed the full arm, and then this massive shoulder pauldron and chest and helmeted head of a golem of impressive plate metal, clearly like enhanced and magical in a way, as light begins to pour out of the elements between the gaps between and through the plated helm, and from this kind of like chest cavity that seems to have a crack but a glow as well, and it with impressive and frightening strength grabs hold of Augustus by the chest hair and kind of almost your throat, as its whole hand basically can like completely encompass your body. We all roll initiative.
Yep.
If you haven't already, please do. 25
I
to
rolled
20.
6 plus 3,
That's a
9.
9. That is not 25 to 20. Anyone else 20 plus? 20 to 15.
15.
Okay. It's good to have you go early.
That's what I was hoping you'd say.
15 to 10.
14.
Also 14, but your dex is definitely higher than mine.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
And then to Crane. All right, with 9. Okay, so first things first. Unfortunately, given the surprise condition, before we start initiative with Augustus, this creature has a chance to basically grapple and restrain you, given its strength. However, I would give you a straight acrobatics check to try and evade that, but I'm going to give it to you at disadvantage given the surprise.
feels fair. Feels fair. Okay. That one's really good. This one is also equally good.
So,
Wait.
Contested roll, go ahead.
Disadvantage, I had 17. I rolled
A
it.
17 is good. Unfortunately, very strong 23.
Oh, no, I can't beat that.
To beat.
Don't think I could ever beat it.
I mean, a natural 20, I would give it to you. But unfortunately, not a terrible roll on my side. And it's a very strong
He's strong.
creature.
He real
He's
strong.
very strong. The gauntlet, and just given the size, the gauntlet clamps over and like clutches onto you. And if it was a foot further, would literally encompass your whole body and chest. You are considered grappled, but it is your turn. What do you do?
Can I cast? Let's find out. I'm underwater. Misty Step.
Does it have a verbal component?
It is a verbal component, just a verbal component.
You can, and if you presumably are going to get out of water, then you'll be all right. But otherwise, it would lose some of your air, obviously.
Oxygen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to use that to teleport 30 feet away and up and hopefully out.
Sure. Easy enough. You disappear from its grasp. It is difficult under the water to enunciate the elements, so I will ask for a wisdom check as your stat, as your spellcasting stat, but it's an easy DC.
14.
Yep, no problem. Through the water, you're able to enunciate the proper incantation, and really, as like a primal based caster, it's more about using the elements and using your innate connection to like just use the water to envelop you. And
Yeah, I think I would
away.
glance up at like Ray and see her, and then that like energy would just kind of like summon beneath me and then pop out.
Yeah, 30 feet can put you outside of the water for sure. Actually, I would probably put you on the bank, kind of half at the edge of the bank on the far like south side or west side, basically where you like came from on that side, where I imagine Decrane and Andy are is on the south side, and Enid, you were back at the first pond, which is a little further away, but now seeing this happening, you're about 10, 15 feet away from Augustus and another 10, 15 feet from the other. So not too far from everybody. That's your bonus action.
I would just crawl, coughing water, and be like, scary metal thing trying to choke me. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do. I'm just going to crawl out of the mud.
Easy enough. Yeah, you pull yourself up on the banks and out of the pond here. Enid, what do you do?
So obviously I've seen him come to safety because like she was ready to jump in. I've seen him come to safety. Am I within reach of the gauntlet / do I see it?
It'll cost you 15 feet of movement to run over to his side, to Augustus' side. At that point, you can look down into the water and absolutely see this creature pulling itself out of the sediment and muck. And at this point, you see one gauntleted hand like lifting itself up, and its full left side that was kind of on the low side. You see it's shattered and broken. It does not have a left arm. You can see the shoulder pauldron has been like heavily destroyed and damaged and bent. And it's still pulling itself out to see like how much further that damage goes down its left side, but it's only got the one arm right now. As it's like pulling itself up.
Okay. So immediately, am I able to cast Hex?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Sick. What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, how are we gonna do this? I guess just like almost like a shadow appears. I don't know, like it forms. It almost looks like rabbit ear smoke, and then it engulfs.
Yeah, for sure. It wraps around this kind of. There are plenty of shadows as this creature is pulling itself out, and it's emanating this kind of blue light from within it, causing all these long shadows to extend. And using your primal magics, you twist some of those shadows, and it ensnares and wraps around the metal helm. Like you see the rabbit ears kind of form before they wrap around the upper half.
So cool.
And you can feel your hex has gotten hold of this creature.
And then it looks like it does. Until the spell ends, you deal an extra 1d. So then it says 3 damage, necrotic damage.
Yeah, so it's on each attack you make against it.
Okay.
It deals that additional damage.
Cool. Okay.
So it's only a bonus action to cast, though. So you can use your action to fire at it if you wish.
Yes.
Cool.
Or do other things.
Yeah. No, I'll fire at it.
Okay, go ahead. You draw your bow. You fire. Unfortunately, it is underwater, so you do have disadvantage.
Okay.
But
7 to hit.
The water, it does actually pierce through the water fine, but the plate mail that it's wearing, it just shatters as soon as it connects with the chest. It just breaks the arrow on impact immediately.
Okay.
Immediately, you get the sense that either you need to roll really high, or maybe there's certain points to hit rather than just like straight on like the plating. You're not sure yet. You've never fought a creature like this. Yeah. Augustus has pulled himself free. Do you stay at the water's edge?
Yeah, I'll just kind of stay there just in case it tries to go for him again, or if he needs assistance, I'm there.
You got it. Andy.
How far away, am I from this creature?
It is at the bottom of this lake. It's about 15, 20 feet deep, and it's maybe about the same in terms of like how far out into the pond it is. So about 15, 20 feet.
Okay. Question number 2. I just kind of assume that I cast Mage Armor, and I just knock that slot off every morning, even if I don't say it in game. Would it be reasonable to assume I still have Mage Armor, or am I going to need to cast that again?
Nope, that's fine. It's only like mid-afternoon, so based on morning to now, totally fine. And I think while overland travel, knowing the potential risk, having an 8-hour Mage Armor cast is totally fine.
Okay, so not so late in the day that we probably have a short rest where I could have used Arcane Recovery, but early enough.
Would have been about now that you would have done that if...
Done that, yeah.
Yeah, so not yet.
So I'm just making sure that I have the right spell slot checked off, and I have Mage Armor right now. Okay, so that changes things.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't actually do anything yet. This is a construct. Mind Sliver isn't going to work, and that's kind of my only distance thing. Would it be reasonable to use my turn to try to figure out what the fuck this thing is?
Sure. You can make
any stories I've heard.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, she'd know it's probably magic in some capacity.
That seems obvious.
But I mean, either I'm happy with either a history or arcana. Just tell me which one.
I think I'm gonna go arcana on this one.
Okay. Mid. It's a 9 on the dice. My arcana is pretty good. It's a +5, so only 14.
Without getting closer to it to like understand a little bit more, like it's literally it happened so fast. It's difficult to ascertain any like really good information. You're not actively like investigating it, right? But even with that level of check and just the knowledge of history, it's clear that this is some kind of arcane construct. Like it's an arcane golem of some capacity. It doesn't seem like, an undead soldier that's been raised. It's got clear signs of magic energy that is giving it sentience, it's giving it life. And you would have known that there are more in history than current present day. It was a sign of prestige for wealthy aristocracy, and it's obviously arcane mages and archmages would have had golems as servants or as protectors or all kinds of automaton that would serve them in various capacities. This seems like something in that level, but you're not sure to what extent.
Okay. I'll just kind of call out to everybody. This seems definitely like a construct. I don't think it has blood. I don't know if it has sinew. Don't know if that helps anyone. And I'm gonna take a couple steps back.
How many steps?
I don't want to be right at the edge when it comes up.
So 5, 10, 15?
Like, can I move 10 feet?
Mm-hmm. No problem.
Yeah. Very suspiciously.
There was a lot of suspicion there. A lot of sus. Yeah.
You move 10 feet exactly back, no further, no less.
Great. Okay. There's another one in the pond behind us, isn't there?
The pond is not behind you. The ponds are connected. So
okay.
It would be ahead of you.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't think I have any bonus actions, but let me just check if I got any new ones that make sense.
I don't think you do.
I don't think I do either. Okay.
Andy calls that out and pulls back. We go to Decrane.
Come on, DC.
So I can see that. Can I see?
Yeah, absolutely. It's clear water, and it's causing light to emit from the creature. So you're seeing, as much as it's kicking up sediment and kind of, sand and all this, like, kind of is clouding the water a little bit. The water itself is incredibly clear, and the light that it's emitting is giving you a clear line of sight.
I'm not gonna jump in, but I'm gonna pull out my gun and take a shot.
You draw the star wheel, already loaded, and fire. Go ahead and take a shot.
All right.
Fuck me.
You fire into the water. It pierces through the water, and you're not sure where exactly it connects. There's a lot of movement and like you see like kind of spark in the water for a second, but it's immediately quenched by the water. That it's hard to detect where exactly you hit, but it doesn't seem to have slowed it or pierced its metal.
It's a two for the listener. Solid 2. A lot of number 2s for Decrane this episode.
That's your action. 1 of your 4 shots.
Okay.
And I need you to mark off 1 of your shots of your total shots as well.
Let me Can I do that on the sheet?
We can worry about it at the end,
Okay.
later, how many shots we go through by the end of combat. But just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind.
Yep. Okay.
And do you move?
Do I move? No, not yet.
You hold. The barrel turns to the next shot. You hold your position, waiting to fire once more.
Yeah.
Sounds good. That ends Decrane's turn and takes us to our friendly neighborhood golem. As it's pulling itself up out of its resting place, it begins to draw itself up to its full height before it stumbles back down, and for a moment you saw its head crest out of the water. That's how tall this creature is at full height. However, it stumbles and falls fully on its side because it doesn't have a left leg as well as a left arm. It's been clean cut down this side. It moves at half speed, still has one leg and one arm, and as it begins to pull itself in the direction of Augustus and Enid, and kind of also looking to Decrane, it moves 10 feet, dragging itself before it stands up or pulls itself up to one knee, which is still almost 12 feet tall. And you watch it raise its hand, and as a kind of pass over, you see this energy begin to form in its hand. And I need anyone who has a significant amount of metal on them. Decrane, yes, you certainly do. Your weapon, various bits of your armor, that is certainly metal. Your blade on your back. The three of you, though, Augustus, I don't think you have any metal, especially seeing as you stripped off. Enid is a question mark, and Andy, I'm not sure what the two of you consider metal.
Astrolabe and random jewelry and piercings and stuff, but I think mostly the astrolabe.
So, actually, Enid, go ahead.
Yeah, and I have my piercing, and I would have the piercings in my ears as well. And then I think the buckle on my, because I'm just wearing cloth.
Yeah. Do you have daggers? Do you have any other blades?
I have my two my scimitars.
Okay. So that's enough metal to consider you a part of this. So the Enid and Enid and Decrane, I need both of you to make strength saving throws. And then Andy, you have a choice because yours is being held, and the elements on you, the small elements aren't the issue. It's larger pieces. It'd be armor and weaponry. Your astrolabe is large enough to be counted here. This magnetic pulse is pulling anything metal directly to this creature.
Oh, shit.
If you hold onto your astrolabe, you have to make this save. On a success, you'll be able to cling to it and it won't get pulled. On a failure, it will get ripped from your hand and either carry you with it or lose your focus.
I will not be letting this thing go.
If you are holding onto it, then you need to make a strength saving throw as well.
I got 11.
I rolled a 15 and one 16.
Ooh, nice. I rolled a 17 on the dice, plus I think it might just be 0.
Yeah, you all rolled incredibly well, and each of you is pulled 30 feet towards the creature.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, failing against this very powerful golem.
Shit.
Enid, you've dig your heels into the ground, but you feel the weight of both of the crossed scimitars on your back pulls you forward. You splash into the water, drawn towards it. Decrane clinging to your pistol, still waiting, and all the bits of armor and metal you feel on you, you're pulled. Splash. Andy, you do have the choice. You can let it go, or you can let it pull you. And clinging so hard, and then having two hands cling onto your astrolabe, you're pulled in via the little kind of Fabergé-like egg of your astrolabe into the water. as the magnetic pulse pulls you all within 5 feet of the golem, as you're all within the 30-foot range. At various points, you're each pulled. You watch as its hand, I'm going to roll randomly for which of you it swings at, as it then makes a fist, and it's just going to make a clobber slam attack. I'll roll a d6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 4. Decrane. You watch its fist just swing around to kind of clobber at you. That's gonna hit. I'm not gonna tell you how much. That is going to be 23 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh. Jeez. Still alive. Still alive.
It is still at its kind of like kneeling position, but even at its kneeling position, as all of you have been pulled into the water here, it is still up taller than each of you at half its height. That's going to end its turn. 3 of you within 5 feet of it. Augustus, we come to you. You're muted, by the way.
Oh, so you haven't heard me swearing this whole time? That's so funny. I'm like, what the fuck? 23? I've got 22 health. Jesus Christ. Okay. Does it, DM question, does it seem like that magnetic attraction has persisted? Like they continue to, or it was like a pulse?
A pulse, and then suddenly each of you feel it relinquish, and then you feel clobbered by its fist against the ground.
Yep. I think I am going to just like so mad seeing it drag Nettie forward, rise from my like half prone, and then just like swirl my hands around and kind of feeling this like anger and heat rising inside. I'm gonna use Scorching Ray and cast these 3 fiery little orbs at it.
Yeah, go ahead and make 3 attacks.
Okay, 3 attacks. Here we go. First one, I think that landed on the 5, so it's 11.
That would miss.
This guy is 12, so it was only a 7.
That would miss.
And then this guy, come on, D&D Beyond. No, it's a now one. That's a now one right there.
That would miss.
Woof, gang, this might not be our fight.
I'll take the liberty here, but feel free to flavor it however you wish. Yeah. But with the 3 Scorching Rays, this is the first time you've ever cast a spell. Mm-hmm. And I think purely just out of, as you said, anger, rage, frustration, watching Enid just get pulled away, you're just thinking like hurt, damage, and go, and flame just ushers off of you in these 3 bursts. However, at the last second, you have control, and you realize the 3 of your party members are in the line of fire, literally, and it's just enough to pull you up that they just skim across the water more than even getting into the water, and unfortunately, just your own fear at your own ability pulls you out of actually harming anything.
Oh my God.
That's your
what
action.
What are we doing? I don't know what to do. That's it. I think I would like keep scooting backwards, seeing what it did to Decrane. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like on my butt, trying to move backwards. Be like, hey! You have her like come towards me.
She moves, I believe, after your turn, anyways. She swirls right over top of you.
That's it. We'll just do it.
Enid, we come to you. You have been pulled within 5 feet of this creature. Your bow is still drawn, and like you can feel the bruising in your back at the cross scimitars where it just like grabbed and pulled you 30 feet to it, into the water. I will also point out for the 3 of you now underwater, you can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus your Constitution modifier. However, given the surprise, Decrane, you're fine. The other 2. Given the surprise, I'm going to take one of those minutes away. So what, Enid, what's your Constitution modifier? I know Andy's is 3, if I'm not mistaken. So she can hold her breath for 3 minutes with the 1 minute reduction. Enid, your con modifier.
+1.
Okay, so you got 1 minute left.
Okay. Am I able to use my scimitars? Like, I know they're stuck, but am I able to use them?
You can stow and draw as part of your attack. So yeah, you can swap off.
Can I do what's this one? Deadly strikes?
Sure. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Okay. It says you can augment your weapon strikes with mid-scarring magic drawn from the gloomy hollows of the Feywild.
Hell
When you
yeah.
hit a creature with a weapon, you can deal an extra 1d4 psychic damage to the target, which can take this extra damage only once per turn.
Okay. So you have to hit with your weapon, and then if you hit, you deal this additional damage.
Okay.
So you draw one of your scimitars and just...
4? No, that's the damage. Where does it say the
roll for
It
it?
should be
Yeah.
+5 to hit. Is it one of your short swords?
Yeah. Okay, here. Oh, that's why. Okay. 22 to hit.
Yes.
22 is gonna hit, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely hits.
And then 8 piercing damage.
Okay. And roll your hex as well, the necrotic.
5 necrotic damage.
Okay, perfect.
Sick.
You draw the sword and just slash across, and you connect, and you feel your blade connect into like the side of the helm, just immediate like raw anger. However, 2 things. 1, the blade connects and you feel it make no impact. The plate that this creature is created of is magically enhanced. You feel your blade rebuked, even though you had a good hit. However, your hex, your necrotic, shadowy energy sinks in, and you do see it kind of twist its head as you feel your hex draw in the damage. The hex does deal its full damage, but the blade is nullified.
Oh my god.
Okay.
It's not a good fight.
No.
That is your action.
Yep.
You still have a bonus and movement if you wish.
Am I able to try and get out?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that then.
Opportunity then.
Okay, that's okay.
Deal. You immediately slash, see oh fuck, and just begin to push and swim out, knowing the breath in your lungs is not a ton. It is going to make a swing at you. That will be a 20 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
It is going to swing at you.
Oh god, I'm scared.
Oh, no, not terrible. 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh. Yep.
As you push away, and its hand from hitting the crane where you cross across its face, it just backhands the other way, sends you spinning, stars popping in your eyes, a breath nearly locked fully from your lungs, but you are able to crest the surface. You can't get out of the water as you'd be at half speed, but you can get to like within 5 feet of the edge and up out of the water at least. So you can
Okay.
breathe.
Sweet.
I have a question. She
Yep.
had that thing with psychic damage. Does it work?
No.
I officially have no spells that can harm this thing. If it
Time to go, gang. Time to
Yep.
go.
I think we're gonna have to go.
That ends Ian's turn. Andy, where do you go?
What's up, Andy?
a couple options. I think actually no, okay, I guess I have one spell that could damage this thing, but it's not very much. It's a cantrip. I think out of panic and seeing how 2 people just got hit really hard, I'm gonna cast Mirror Image on myself.
Okay. Yeah, what does that look like?
I think it's wait, I'm just marking off the spell slot. the stuff I've kind of described before of how she has, like, when with her important stuff, like this form kind of made out of stars. We're in the daylight, so it's not going to be as obvious, but it's like there's her, and then there's these two forms almost made out of stars, and they're all like coming in and out of each other consistently, like almost like a trail of every time you move, like a motion blur. 3 feet, yeah.
Yeah, they just begin to swirl around you, and you feel a little bit of that extra protection. That's your action.
That's my action. I don't have bonus actions.
Does that have a verbal component as well, by the way?
I should check.
Because if it does, it will cost you some of your air.
Okay.
Things are going good. Things are great.
It does.
You can either give up a minute, or you can use like a bonus action to try and almost like make a con check to see if you can hold.
Yeah, I don't have any other bonus actions, so let's do that.
Okay, con check. D20 plus whatever your constitution modifier.
17.
Yeah. You don't actually burn any of your oxygen to do that.
Great.
It's quick enough. You're able to do it without expelling too much. That's your action, bonus action. You're going to stay there?
I'm going to try to move back.
Sure. You swim?
Yeah.
You can only swim 15 feet, but
yeah.
Do you want to stay in the water, or do you want to pop up like beside Enid?
If I'm popped up, can I still see DeCrane?
Yes, the water is surprisingly clear.
Okay, yes, I'll pop up as long as I can still see DeCrane.
You swim over right beside Enid, pop up, and DeCrane is still down. He'd be about like 10 feet from you at this point, but yes. And your turn, DeCrane. We come to you.
Are there, like, at least do I see any openings on this creature's, like, no arm? Like, are there slots or any?
So, several openings. Basically, its full left side is a significant series of, bent metal and gash wounds. It's stuffed with, like, rock and sediment from where it's been in this pond for whoever knows how long. But there are clear, obvious, like, elements within it. Like, you can see elements of like cog work and pieces of copper or brass that are sticking out in random bits and pieces, and there's gears and things, and then basically throughout, like where the plates would have gaps, you can see there's a gap. There's a line of blue energy around like the neck, around the shoulder joint of the intact arm, in between the two plates of the gauntlet itself. You can see there's light. In between each of the finger joints, there's light. And then at the chest, it's got an Iron Man style kind of arc reactor kind of hole, which you can see has a massive crack across the face of it. So that's also kind of a hole. And then each of the face slits of like a classic armor, like a knight's face helm, plate helm, there are several slits there that are also open into this just kind of blue light energy.
Slits, I'm guessing, though, are not big, like, not for a bullet.
The face ones, no. The chest one, yes. And not anything on the left side you could try and get clear shot into.
I'll go for the chest.
You got it.
Love
Point
this
blank.
idea.
Put the gun up against the chest. Go ahead and make your shot.
Boom, boom.
All right. 17, roll.
Yes, guy. Yes, guy.
Plus 7, 24.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage. And this damage will be dealt.
1d10 plus 3.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1d10 plus 3. Okay.
So piercing is good. Slashing, maybe not so
6.
much.
6 plus 3.
9 points. You got it.
Do you have any class features to make that scarier, or do you have to call it ahead of time? What does your class allow?
Yeah, you have your trick shots, I believe, but typically those are called ahead of time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Next time, then.
We're all learning.
I do it.
It's all good.
Yeah. Basically, the best thing you learn from this is a weak point. Chest, arc reactor spot where it's cracked. You break that crack a little further open with this like point blank shot, and you watch the light all kind of flicker across the entirety of its body, and then you watch it bend down, head down towards you, and it is still down even from its knees. Do you need anything with a bonus action, and do you move away?
Can I, with my bonus, I want to draw some energy from him.
Okay.
This is interesting.
Yeah. Do you have? Can you use your energy draw, your bite, whatever, as a bonus?
That's a good question. Let me see. How would I know if I can use?
It would be listed in your bonus actions, but I can.
Oh, here I see what you're saying. Okay. No, I don't have it there.
Like that.
Energy drain. Yeah, your energy drain is specific to your action. You do have a second wind bonus action to heal.
That could be helpful.
I can do that. Okay.
Yeah, that's second
that would
wind.
be.
It's a D10 plus 3 health.
Raiders, baby.
You took
I
a
will
pretty
do that.
significant blow last time. It might not be a bad idea.
So do I can just check it here on the sheet where it says short rest?
Yep, check it out.
No, not short rest. There's like
It does say short rest, but it's like where he checks it off.
oh, because it's
like
one
one
per
per
short rest.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's 1d10 plus 3. So
Yep.
I rolled a 9.
Nice. All right, heal up.
Thank God.
Heal up 12. And do you stay or move away from the creature?
I'm not too close to it, am I? Like
You're within 5 feet.
5. Yeah, I want
You're
to.
within.
Well, if I move back, will I be taking an will he get an attack of opportunity?
It already has swung at Enid, so it's used its reaction for the round, as long as it only has one.
So then I will move a bit back.
Okay.
Like maybe 10 feet.
You swim back without the need to rise for oxygen. You just pull back, pistol still smoking and leaving a trail. And the trail, you see, has this like kind of blue light that is kind of trailing along with it from where you connected at its kind of arc reactor point. But you pull back. It does begin to like move its arm in your direction, but not fast enough as a reaction, more just that you've now become a point of ire with this creature. As you end your turn, it's its turn.
Oh boy.
It doesn't like you.
Nope.
What do you mean to it?
It does not get its magnetic pulse back.
It's probably good.
So it begins to pull itself forward with its 10-foot speed. And with you having done the most significant attack to it, is going to just throw a massive fist as hard as it can.
Come on, DeCrane. You got this.
Can I? Oh, I don't have dodge, I guess.
It's a natural
Not Hound of the Blue.
Oh, it's a natural one.
a natural one. As it pulls itself back, it throws the punch, but you are quick and even in the water are able to kind of just move out of the way. As much as it's large, it's not moving fast, and so it throws its punch and does unfortunately go wide.
Can I? It says here in my react, I can have an attack of opportunity attack.
That's if it moves away from your range. It's moved into your range.
Sorry.
No, that's all good. However, it is going to use its second attack.
Damn.
Fuck.
It's not gonna be a 1 again.
Instead of trying to punch you, is going to try and grapple you and try and hold on to you. So go ahead and make an athletics or acrobatics check
Okay.
versus its.
Okay. Let me just see here.
Don't roll. This was a 29.
Oh no! I rolled a 7, and my acrobatics is 5. So
I can't even help you get beat a 29.
12.
If you rolled a natural 20, I'd give it to you just for the sake of a 20. But yeah, nothing's gonna beat that guy for this one. As you manage to move around for the punch, it instead just like its hand like fully flips and just grabs hold, and its fingers and like goes all the way around like your throat, chest, and it connects at your around your back. Like its massive gauntlet holds your whole body. It's that large. It then can't pull itself up, and actually instead pins you to the ground to begin to kind of lift itself up. So it's holding you against the now bottom of the lake.
Jesus.
As it pulls itself up to its kind of like pseudo-balanced position. That ends his turn. Augustus, we come back to you.
Is that chest exposed if it's kind of standing up a bit?
It's kind of standing up. From your position, you would have to either get back in the water. Actually, you'd have to get back in the water to kind of get a clear shot. Otherwise, it has a 3/4 cover just by its pure size.
That's tough. That's tough. Okay. Man, back in the water. I'm so squishy. What does that say?
You can get back in the water at 15 feet distance.
Let's do that.
You just jump back in right at the edge.
Fearing for Decrane, he can't breathe underwater. He's just a human being. I will sprint into the water and try and... would I be underwater to cast this? I wanted to cast Scorching Ray again.
If you're trying to aim for the chest, you have to get under the water online. So yes.
Would you be okay with just like a fiery spell going through water? Is the thing?
It's magic. Yeah, baby.
Okay, sweet. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to control his anger more and trying to say dives into the water, and then it's just going to try and shoot up at him.
1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
Let's give it a go.
I will say really quick,
Yep.
It's a called shot on a small target. AC is a little higher than its normal AC. I was, lowering its original AC because it's been so significantly hurt. So I'm going to put it back to its actual creature stat AC.
I bet 6 on the dice does the first one.
It hits.
What about 16?
16 total?
Yes.
Unfortunately, no.
What about 20?
That does do it.
Okay, 1 hits. Let's roll damage. Pretty good. 9 damage.
You watch the flame of the first just kind of go wide. The second scatters against its massive, like, kind of shoulder pauldron. And the third, you see connect. Unfortunately, where it connects, it just kind of feeds the flames of the creature's form, and you watch its light just grow brighter and more powerful.
Oh my god, what is happening? It's not our fight. With any movement I have left, I think I'm just gonna try and swim away.
Easy enough. Yeah, you get back. You can get out of the water.
Perfect. I'll even use, because I want to use it because I haven't yet, my little rabbit hop as my bonus action. If my speed is greater than 0, I can jump 10 feet without provoking attacks of opportunity. That's really cool.
Yeah. So if you were in close, and Enid, you would have that as well. You bounce from the bottom of the lake back up to the top, and then swim your way out, back up right onto the edge of the water. Enid, we come back to you.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of shout out to everyone and be like, guys, I think we gotta cut our losses. We gotta get out of here, guys. Like, we're not doing well.
And then you look down in the water and you see Decrane pinned down into the ground by the thing's giant gauntlet.
We gotta go get him, don't we?
The center thing, it kind of maybe help. I don't know. It might have hurt it more.
Can I do? I guess I'll just let my hex. It's the only thing I can do. I guess is just let it roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you still have your hex up, but you have to hit it to do the hex damage.
Okay.
And if basically what you've learned and what you've heard call out is your weapons are not going to deal any damage against its body, but if you get down and go for that kind of exposed, arc reactor chest point, your mundane weapons will deal damage, and with your hex, it'll deal that as well. And actually, your psychic won't, but your blade will. Does
the since I'm further away now because I'm out of the water, would the longbow count as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that then.
You have to drop down in the water to get a clear shot, but then you can pop back up.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack.
It's 25 to hit.
Definitely
Yes,
hits. Definitely.
And
Was
then,
it 19?
yeah, it was a 20.
Sick.
Double the dice.
And then it says piercing damage 10, critical piercing damage 6.
So 16 piercing damage, and then roll an additional D6 for Hex, which is also doubled.
Ooh. So 6 total.
Doubled already, or 6 on the dice?
It was 3 on the dice, so doubled.
Oh, I was jacked up beyond.
No, unfortunately, sorry.
Still an insane roll.
Still pretty great.
Yeah.
We're level 3, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 points of damage would have put any of you in the ground pretty much. Your shot, as you drop down into the water, already drawn and like drop in, fires in, and the arrow embeds like halfway through the full arrow into the chest, where it's kind of like now at an angle where it's like pinning Decrane into the ground, and you see that more like kind of crack splinter, and the necrotic energy just kind of flow from your hex. And you watch the creature drop to its knee in the kind of shock of this attack. Unfortunately, dropping to its knee and like crushing Decrane a little further into the sediment, but dealing a significant blow. That's your action. You still have a bonus, and you can pop back up to breathe at the very least.
Yep, I'll do that then. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll just pop back up.
Okay, Andy. Good to you.
Okay. I'm worried about Decrane.
Thank
So
you.
I'm gonna cast something else new.
Yes.
I'm blowing all my fucking second level spells.
Now's the time.
I'm gonna cast something. It requires a save. So
Who's
we'll
saving?
see how that works.
The robot.
Decrane.
Decrane saving.
Typically, those things can be a willing.
It doesn't say willing. It just says the creature can choose to fail, but I don't know if he knows it's coming from me. So I don't know. I guess it's a DM call. This is new.
It depends on how you want to play it. If you say, Decrane, I'm doing something to save your life, maybe that would help.
Could he hear
He's
something?
underwater. Can you hear me underwater?
I mean, it's going to be a little bubbly, but we'll I'll let you roll for how clear you and concisely you can say something. But
Okay.
as a party, I think I would be disingenuous of me to like say, you know what? He
Okay.
doesn't know you're trying to save his
Nope,
life.
that's totally fair.
Close are we? Does he know?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna cast Vortex Warp.
Yep.
What is this?
So what does this do?
Essentially, I can twist space around a creature I can see within range, and the range is 90 feet.
Cool.
And essentially, normally on a failed save, I can kind of just put them wherever I want.
Sick.
Decrane, you feel this element of magic pulling at you. Andy, do you say anything? Do you attempt to say anything?
I'll essentially be like, I can try to get you out of there, and then do this.
Decrane, do you hear Andy say this? Well, sorry, I did say I was going to make you roll for it. So go ahead and just roll a d20, straight up d20.
Okay.
No, this is Andy, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
A 4?
A 4.
Yeah.
Decrane, you get about half of Andy saying something. You catch your name, and then Andy did direct something at you, though. Do you feel that, like, and you feel magic you feel something begin to kind of tingle around you. You feel the space around you begin to kind of shift and move. Do you lean into it, or do you try to resist?
Oh, that's a good question. I am going to say that in my my hour of desperation, my thought goes quickly to just take the lifeline.
Okay. I think as well, given it's Andy and that the two of you have a bit more of a history, a bit more of connection, there would be a little bit more trust in, you know, that what she can do more so than the others. So I think leaning into it and willingly giving yourself to her magic would make sense. So what happens, Andy?
So I think what you'd see is you would see the kind of bullet time that she's seen in the past, where everything suddenly slows and stops and the world like flips inverse, where you're in this like a midnight sky blue world. Everything has a big tint about it, and you see all of these kind of starlight strings of fate all over the place, and you're pulled in like slow motion through this and through pieces of like through its hand, through the water. You don't feel any resistance, and you go past her, but you don't see her. You see this form completely made of starlight, and I'm gonna put you like 10 feet behind us.
On land.
On land. It has to be on land. That's part of the spell. Is it like has to be sure footing. And then it's like frozen in time, and then everything kind of speeds right back up really, really quickly, and you're like, it's like you feel yourself going through all that before you actually do, and then it's like a big ricochet rubber band, where you suddenly feel the big jerk, and then everything's moving quickly again.
And underwater, all of you hear this kind of as the pressure of pushing down onto Crane's chest is suddenly now pushing and just smashes into the earth beneath. As to Crane, you are drenched, but standing on the edge on the shoreline, seeing Enid and Andy still in the water, Augustus on the shore to your left, free of its grasp. Andy, is that an action or bonus?
It's an action.
Okay.
Oh shit, that worked. Okay, great. I don't think I have anything else.
Do you stay in the water?
No, I'm gonna move.
Thank God.
I'm gonna get out of the water.
You can use the rest of your movement to get out beside the Crane.
Yeah, that's great.
You pull yourself out. You are free. We come to Crane.
Okay, so we have still one person in the water.
Enid is at the surface of the water. Yeah.
Okay, at the surface though. Okay, not.
She's not submerged. She's at the surface, but she's about 10 feet on the surface, so she's not at the edge.
I'm going to draw energy from the water, because the creature's in the water. I should be able to take energy from the creature, and maybe I take energy from the water because the water is heated.
Let's see here.
There's a should in that statement. I should be able to.
Water is a conductor, so I will allow you to go through the water in the same way that an electrical charge could go through water.
That's cool.
However, similarly to an electrical charge, you hit everything that is in the water, which includes Enid and the creature. So it's going to happen, but both Enid and the creature will be affected.
It's okay, because
it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
I have 7 hit points.
Oh my god!
I keep forgetting I'm not Atlanta.
I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Don't kill my sister, bro.
wait, who, me?
No, Enid does against you.
Okay, let's see.
And we'll use your fighter.
21.
Okay, amazing.
Elite.
We'll use your fighter DC of 13 as the goal. And I will roll for a creature. That is not amazing, actually. It's a fail. It's an 11.
Nice.
Good.
So,
So, DeCrane, go ahead and we'll roll 1d4. But given the water, I'll treat it as a crit, so you can double the d4.
Ooh.
Or you can
7.
Okay, 7 plus 1. So you heal 8 hit points.
damn.
And he takes 8 hit points, or 8 points of damage. Enid, you saved, so you take nothing.
Sweet.
You're in the clear.
What does that
and
look like, Decree?
we'll come back to it in a second. DeCrane, you also gain a bonus to the next ability check or attack roll equal to the 8 points of damage you just healed or got, whatever. So your next attack roll is plus 8.
It's wicked.
But yeah, what do you do in that moment to cause this energy drain through the pond?
So I'm on the shore, right?
Mhm.
So I go down on one knee. I put my hand on the water, and I guess I just almost meditate, go into a meditation, and it just going into my hand.
Cool.
Yeah, you just see a little bit of an aura. There's a little pulse that goes into the water. You see the creature almost shock itself a little. Enid, you feel this static electricity kind of ripple all the way down your spine. Every element of you that's touching water, just a little shock, a little electric shock, but not just a tingle. Nothing that's painful. Maybe a little uncomfortable, but not painful, thankfully. I would say that everyone sees a little bit of that static electric kind of shock and raising of the hair of DeCrane happens again, given the conductiveness of the water kind of adds that oomph back to you with your energy drain. That's your action, and it was a successful one, so it's great. And you can hold that 8 for your next round. Is it going to end your turn? You're going to stay at the water's edge?
Yep.
Okay.
I just want to check bonus. I couldn't lasso Enid, could I?
I don't believe you have a bonus to do that. I would give you the chance to throw rope to her if you wanted to do that.
I'll do that.
Draw some of your rope and throw a lifeline out to Enid and just kind of brace to help her get out if you
the rope.
If you wish.
Grab it.
Yeah.
That is going to end DeCrane's turn and take us to our golem.
I really thought he'd be like a friendly giant. That's kind of what I was hoping for.
Ooh, magnetic pulse comes back. As the electric shock ripples throughout it, it raises its hand once more and just directly targeted to the 3 of you, no longer worrying about Augustus. I need strength saving throws from the 3 of you again.
Oh boy.
No. 5 on the dice.
7.
I rolled a 15 and plus 1, 16.
Unfortunately, not going to do it. You're not rolling terribly, but he's a tough cookie. You throw the rope out to Enid. Enid, you grab the rope, and both of you are just pulled down into the water. Andy, you're holding onto your astrolabe, and again, you feel it. You're not letting go, and all 3 of you are once again just brought back down into the water. The creature is trying to pull itself forward, so it's another 5 feet closer to the edge. And this time, as it pulls you all in, it is going to use an ability it has called Spinning Cleave.
Oh boy.
And it is going to spin in an arc and make an attack at any creature within 10 feet of it, or all creatures within 10 feet of it, which is now all 3 of you. It's going to make just a backhand slam with its arm at each of you.
Are these separate rolls or one roll?
3 separate rolls. Each of you are getting individually attacked. I will point out each attack is a disadvantage given that it's underwater. It just has a really big bonus. So, Enid first. That's going to be a 25.
Yep.
No, it's not.
Oh boy.
It's a 4 on the dice.
That's going to be a 19.
Oh shit, that's a waste.
Oh. Yep.
Oh, that was such a waste.
Worth it. No, it was worth it. We didn't know.
It was worth it. It was worth a shot. Against a crane. That was almost another natural one. I was going to be real mad, but it's like a 32.
Oh.
And against Andy, that's also 30.
It needs to roll for mirror image.
No, you roll.
I roll it. You must roll.
I hit you. Now you roll to see if it hits you or one
Okay.
of your images based on an 11 or higher or 11 or
Roll a
lower.
d20, determine whether the attack targets one of your duplicates.
Mhm.
You have 3 duplicates. I must roll a 6 or higher.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, okay. It was like a 12 on the dice, so.
Yeah, so it destroys one of your mirror images.
Duplicate's AC is 10 plus a dex. Oh,
It does.
just
I
if.
rolled a 30. I destroyed it.
Yeah. For some reason, sorry, I saw AC and I thought it was HP, but no, it's AC.
No. They only have one. Okay, so damage against the two of you is gonna be 16 points of bludgeoning damage to each of you.
Oh.
Oh, I'm down.
As
Good.
you're not unconscious, remember we're doing downed instead of unconscious. However, you're unconscious you're down underwater, so you
Yeah, that's not good.
are unconscious.
Yeah.
As this golem like spins on its one foot and you watch it just like collide into Enid and just it spins around and Decrane, are you still conscious or are you down?
No, I'm conscious.
You take the hit on the chin and you see stars spinning, but you're clean. You hold onto your pistol, like trying to get your focus back, watching the creature continue its arc. It collides into one of these astral forms of Andy and scatters it, but Andy, you are left safe. You watch as it spins, the flickering of its like.
That's good.
It falls still. It only had energy for 3 rounds.
Oh, God.
Whoa.
Can I rush in the water?
What?
If I'm there, I can help.
Are we still in battle?
Enid is unconscious underwater.
If I'm right there, I can do something. Otherwise, if August is, you're ahead of me in initiative, so.
Initiative does not matter anymore. Proximity would put Decrane directly beside her, and then Andy, and then Augustus would have dove into the water, but is diving into the water at this point. So, Andy, if you want to reach out and do something, you can.
I think I'd try to get her out of the water first.
I'll give her to. I'll push her over to her, and then
It's actually true. You'd know about this.
The 3 of you get up to the surface within the round. Augustus then also meets up with you at the top of the surface. The 4 of you are at the top of the surface of the water. You break water, but Enid is still unconscious.
I can use healing hands.
You reach out and pump in. Is it a set number or is it a roll?
2d4.
Okay.
6.
Enid, you heal 6 hit points. However, you're still unconscious. I'd like either Andy or someone, but Andy, you're the one who was trying to administer some medical help here. Make a medicine check.
16.
Pretty good.
Between the 3 of you, you get Enid out of the water. You heal, and you see like the bruising, the significant bruising from the clobbering begin to kind of abate from beneath, like where you can see the flesh around her eye beneath her fur. begins to kind of abate, but she doesn't immediately wake up, and you are forced into doing like CPR until you spit up a bunch of water and come to consciousness. The CPR training of the shepherds is pretty good.
Despite my -1 medicine check.
Augustus would just grab you in the saddest hug. He's like already crying and just grab you.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
You spit water on me. You spit water on me.
Ooh, sorry. Where was I gonna put it?
There's one thing I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
After.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we'll come back to whatever anyone wants to do. Once
While holding her, I'll just heal her. I'll have like Ray be circling around us, and just me holding and being so sad. I'll just put another one.
Thank you.
Oh, great! It's max, so it's 12 health to you.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Just a first level cure wounds.
Wow. Thank you.
As you all are safe and sound, you look about your space. You're able to pull yourselves out of the water, and all is quiet. A minute passes, 2 minutes pass. The golem is not moving. Kevin.
I will go. I want to dive back in, and I want to bring the golem up to the surface.
Huge.
So,
If this is possible for me.
You go to lift it, and I will tell you that it weighs. It does weigh 6,000 pounds. It weighs 3 tons. It's
But
about
less than
the
water.
weight of trying to lift a Hummer.
Oh.
In water,
And-
though.
Oh yeah, so
It
it's easy
doesn't
now.
help.
Yeah, it's easy now.
It doesn't help. It actually makes it heavier as the water sinks inside the metal.
Fair.
Okay.
If you want to, as a group, attempt to try and pull this thing out, you certainly can try. I'm not going to say you can, but I will say you're a bunch of weak little bitches who can't
That's
lift
right.
6,000
That's
pounds.
We got no
We
barbarians.
do not have a land
Okay.
brawl win.
Is there
No.
anything? I guess maybe an investigate. Is there anything on it that I could take, like a weapon?
That's a good idea.
That's a better question.
Ah.
Go ahead and throw me an investigation check. I will also remind you, your characters will remember, there was another
Yeah.
fragment that
Nice.
caught your eye in the first pool before Augustus brashly grabbed this one.
Mm-hmm. Let's
15
let's
roll.
get another fucking
And-
ton.
Investigation's 0.
The creature doesn't have a whole lot of elements that are easily breakable off or anything like that. In fact, it's not all like one piece. Like obviously there's elements or segments to the creature, but the way it's constructed makes it basically a cohesive unit. And after having fought it, knowing how difficult, like your mundane weapons weren't touching the metal of this creature. It is a magically enhanced metal, and actually any of you, given the time now, can make an Arcana check or not nature. Yeah, nature. Arcana or nature check to identify elements of it.
23.
8.
The 8 is not going to do anything. The 23 is going to identify the metal itself after having like been up close to it and seen the magnetic properties of the creature's ability set. You've heard of Godsteel. Godsteel is an incredibly rare meteoric ore that is fashioned into weapons, armor, and apparently golems. It is innately magnetic, and given the impressive capacity to work with it, can create amazingly impressive and expensive and incredibly useful pieces of armor and weapons. If you're able to get any of this, even a plate a piece, it is worth a significant amount of money, or could be worked into a new element, a new piece.
I'll try.
Your investigation was a 16. where the thing came from, the kind of hole that is now the crater that is left, with a 16, I will give you a roll of a D100 to see basically how much is left behind for you to pull from the hole. Go ahead and roll a D100.
2 10s or?
Yeah, 2 10s, and it'll be in order for you.
Okay. Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, 700 gives you success. So what I'll say is there are fragments that have been like bent and torn from impact, from damage, from the attack, from whatever happened to the left side of this creature, that you're able to pull free. Unfortunately, you take 5 points of slashing damage from trying to handle this metal. As you like reach and dig in, it cuts at your hand just by it's like the sharpest blade, the sharpest knife in your kitchen. You run your finger along it, and it instantly slices through. Carefully though, you're able to pull up. What I'll say with 73, I'll say 6 different pieces that are about palm-sized. So about palm-sized pieces of very jagged, that if you melted together, smelted these 6 pieces down, you could probably get 1 ingot. So consider an ingot or a bar of metal. You could probably get 1 bar of godsteel out of the amassed elements, as long as the check to smelt them doesn't make them impure.
Destroy them.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I will go back and say that there was some other you found in the other pond, if you want to go and take a look at that first pond.
If it helps, if anyone finds some, if DM's willing, I can burn it first with a catapult to try to yank shit out, if that would work.
That'd be sick on that first one.
Do you want to try it?
Yeah, I'd make sure everyone's moved the fuck out of the way, because this thing's literally going to become a projectile when I do this.
This is the other pond? Or the one I'm in?
This is
not make sure you are out of the way.
Yeah, go ahead and burn the spell.
Razor blade metal flying through the air.
I have a theory, but Augustus isn't this smart, so I'm just going to see how this plays out.
So the thing about catapult is it's not held or worn, but it is kind of embedded. So it's kind of stuck. So I just want you to make a straight intelligence check. Mm-hmm. How powerful is your brain?
20.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes right to the end of the 7th second of your action. It's right where you're oh fuck, it's not gonna work, I'm gonna look like such an idiot, and then it relinquishes and is fired, because you lose a little bit of the control over its end result, and you fire it the full 90 feet or whatever the end point, as a spear of just deadly steel. And then it embeds deep into the earth 90 feet away from the pond. Over the next half hour, 45 minutes, you're able to excavate it.
I'm gonna go find it.
What you find is a broken tip of a blade that would have been attached to the other arm, and is about a foot wide, 1.5 feet wide at its point, or at its as it comes to the tapered point. It would have cleaved any of you in half. So you, with this element, which is more intact actually, but it is clearly shattered, it's broken off at the hilt. Not even at the hilt. It's not a full blade. It's the tip of a blade for a creature this size. It's still a good 2 feet by like a foot and a half. Like it's a good chunk of metal here, and it's surprisingly heavy. Like whatever the max capacity of catapult would be, it pushes that a touch, but just for fun, like it's definitely worth doing. With this one, you can make maybe up to 2 bars, again depending on the quality of your smith and your smelting. So collectively, you have the potential for 3 god steel bars.
In your opinion, would this be something that like we would get made and then sell it, or get made and have something made for us, or just sell the scraps?
All of the above, man. If you want to just sell Godsteel fragments, you won't get the most as if it was a finished Godsteel product, but the fragment, like you have Godsteel, it's worth just in its shitty form right now. It's worth a lot of money what you have in raw material. If you're able to hire someone to smelt it, you have to pay them to smelt it and work with it. And you could get refined bars. They would be worth more than the raw material, and you could sell the refined bars. You could also then hire someone to use those refined bars to make you something dope.
Cool.
So you got some options.
I want to do 2 quick things.
Good.
While I'm there. So one, I want to see, can I take any energy from the golem, like feast?
You try to do your same draw, and it is inert. There is no energy left. It was awoken enough to have 1d4 rounds. It rolled a 3, and then the energy is dissipated.
Thank God you didn't roll a 4.
Second thing I want to do is I want to take, like, I guess I'll just take my rapier, and I just want to like stab it in the neck, just so that like it finish it. It won't cause anyone else any trouble.
You just jam your blade in there a little bit more and just tinker around with whatever its innards are.
Makes you feel good about yourself.
Just watching it from the shore with Nettie. So strange.
Is there anything else you guys want to do before departing the dangerous ponds?
Nope. Put my coat back on.
Take a short rest.
Yeah.
You can easily do that short rest and then continue on your adventuring day. Given your rolls previously and the time, you only have 1 day left, so it doesn't really make a difference to roll anything for your next day's journey. If you somehow fuck up getting to Karden from here, you don't deserve to play this game.
The campaign's up.
You should see it from where you are. So this day comes to an end. Is there anything on the final night here after this encounter that you guys want to talk about or do before we come to what will be the end of game in narration?
I want to look at Enid and Gus. I guess I'm imagining, we're sitting by the fire kind of thing at night. And I just want to look at them and I was like, you two, have you ever killed anything in your life?
I don't
Like-
think so. Like,
No.
no?
No.
Don't know.
Gus?
No, I thought I was saying no too. Did you?
Oh.
I thought I was saying no.
Well, that's going to have to change. If we're going to survive this journey, you're going to have to develop a killer instinct. And that means getting your hands dirty and your souls messy.
Do you?
Whoa. Oh. I get you want to keep up like this, like, oh, I'm a tough guy, you get me act, but like, nah. Look at us. Do we look like killers?
Would you have liked to have died today? Because that could have very well have happened. If
Hey.
we weren't there.
We were this close. This close.
And next time we may not be as lucky.
I didn't want to die today. Just to. I don't know if that was rhetorical. I just did.
So the next time we see a wild animal, one of you is gonna kill it.
Absolutely not.
No, that's not.
Absolutely.
Why don't you go shit in a cow field again? then you can talk to us about.
Can I pick him up? Like, because I'm much bigger, right? Can I just like
You
pick
can
him up,
totally
like,
pick
you know, in a cartoon kind of thing? And he's like,
It's
I like
less
the
a question for me. Yeah, does Augustus allow himself to be picked up?
I would totally be allowed. I would totally be just staring him down, and Ray would just be floating beside me.
And I'll look at him and be like, I
Fiery
will
little orc.
bite your ankles, buddy.
Augustus doesn't weigh enough to stop Decrane from picking him up. So
I'm
yes,
just-
as long
just
if he's not
staring at you
fighting,
like this.
you pick him up like a child, like a toddler.
I just pick him up. I'm just be like, it's okay to kill to survive. And then I throw him down. And I walk nearby to
Take a moment.
sit in the shadows.
And then I'll turn to Augie and like mock him and be like, it's okay to kill. It's okay to be.
Why did his hair stand up? Did you notice that when he's in the pony? His hair was kind of.
That I don't know. I have a feeling.
I would. I don't know if that golem could die or whatever that thing was, but I would have killed to save you, Nettie.
I would have killed to save you. I was willing to.
Yeah, I just don't want to kill like a cute baby animal.
No,
It's-
no. There's no
And
point.
is that okay? Do I have to murder something tomorrow?
No,
proof?
no. You don't. Okay, you don't. Don't listen to him. Okay, you don't need
I
to.
want to see
He's
what
all
Andy says.
talk.
Maybe Andy's like I should murder something. Andy, what do
Yeah,
you
no.
think?
No, don't murder anything. Not even if Andy says so. Okay, we're good. We don't need to murder anything. That's not how we roll. Okay,
Okay,
we're gonna be fine.
Andy, don't
We're
worry.
fine.
It's okay, Andy. All good.
And if listen, if it comes to it, I will make the call and murder something before you. I'm not letting you get your little adorable little paws dirty, okay?
Yeah,
I promise.
I don't make them
Promise.
dirty. Okay.
No, you're not. Promise.
Just curl up in my little blanket.
During if
Glance
this is like-
over.
Sorry,
I
go
would
ahead.
just as I pull a blanket up, I would just glance over at the shadows of Decrane, and he would be thinking about it, not murdering something tomorrow morning, but just like, to get more of a killer instinct and get a little.
Do you
tougher.
have the capacity for what Decrane is suggesting?
Yeah.
Andy, go ahead.
Did you want to say something, Andy? Sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's okay. If this is like the last night before going into town, actually, you know what? No, I'd probably do it in the morning, because I'll need it in the morning after. If you're okay with me, like jumping to there. When I'm done preparing my spells in the morning, I am going to sew up my spell book.
Okay. Yeah, you all bed down for the evening, maybe a little uneasy given the activity and then subsequent conversation. But there may be a shred of truth to the harsh words of Decrane. At least an element there. Perhaps not the immediacy of it, but the consideration of the line of work that you potentially are working your way into can get dark. And if you're not willing to make the right choice in the right moment, it could be you on the other end of the blade. With these lovely thoughts racing through your heads at the end of the eve, you bed down safely within the King's Lands, having crossed through the Glory's Gate and seen the flying standards of the McCairn royal line, and with a little extra godsteel in your packs, you bed down, have a long rest, awaken with Karden on the horizon. As you all have breakfast and get ready for the last leg of your journey, Andy, you are looking over your sash, this beautifully, intricately embroidered sash, and tracing your fingers over the lines of the various incantations you're looking for the day. But please illustrate what you want to do.
I'll just finish preparing my spells in the morning. That literally just looks like looking at this. It's probably this long, a little longer than that because that's as far as the camera goes. Sash that probably can wrap around her waist maybe once comfortably. And it's on the inside, like really expensive, nice silk. And then on the back, it's more just kind of normal fabric, but still nice fabric. It's definitely the nicest fabric she has of her outfit. And her outfit's like 10 different fabrics, just whatever, it was all there. And the inside's all embroidered with like silver and gold thread, the nicest thread that you've ever seen. And it's all sorts of kind of star map, like imagine like old timey star maps. Patterns, a lot of that. It kind of looks a lot like the language in Doctor Who, if anyone's seen that, where it's all kind of spiraling in big circles and a bunch of constellations, and it's like 50% decorative, and then within it there are like lots of little runes and things, but you have to look really closely to tell that they're runes and not stars. And she's gonna finish looking through that, fold it in half, and normally she just folds it in half, ties around her waist. She's folding in half and then using my mending cantrip to sew up the side completely before she ties it back around her waist. But I think she'd do most of this in her tent because she's used to having to hide this. A Decrean would have seen it before, but...
I immediately just looked at your character art being like, you clever girl. Clever girl.
It's like a deep, like almost like a deep periwinkle color.
So cool.
Feeling as safe as you can going into the lion's den, so to speak. You tuck your hat low over your head, exit your tent. You all pack up camp, and unless there's anything else for the morning, you make way for Karden. From where you begin this morning to where you end is not a particularly challenging walk, but you eventually do make your way overland and meet up with the Hoofers Road, the same road you took north to Grill, this time going south. And as you come down the road, you see the massive sprawling city rising before you. And you follow with your eyes the line of snow-capped mountain range, and then the tiered city built in the foothills of this mountain range. The main roads enter the outer city through a scattered array of homes, farmsteads, military outposts, and bustling life beyond great city walls. Beyond this wide expanse of the outer rim of working hands, you see the imposing outer walls of Karden. 25 feet tall, 20 feet thick, heavily adorned by the standards of the gilded McCairn crest, a roaring lion's head framed by the mountain peaks of the capital's backdrop, atop a field of red and fringed with gold. Regal and reflective of the nation's military strength and prowess. You see the same crest emblazoned upon the shields and armor of the Candorian company who patrol the outer wall. As you cross the fields and pass beneath the open portcullis, you enter into the city proper and are hit by a wave of activity, sound, and smell. Everywhere you look, tight streets are flanked by tall, multi-story buildings. The air is pungent and with the sense of humanity, sweat, cooking, flame, and smoke. But there's a specific acrid element to the scent within this city of industrious pursuit. The sound of thousands of people toiling away, hammer and tong, the steady churn of wood and iron gears, the clatter of heavily laden carts rolling into market upon uneven cobblestone. It is easy to lose yourself in the bustling nature of a metropolis, and it's jarring after such quiet overland travel, the simplicity and the fringe of Candorne. Making your way through the city streets, you're caught up in the flow of society. You see people from all walks of life, vendors and stalls aplenty. They all line the high street, selling fruit harvested from the Gold Coast or the Southern Heartlands, fabrics and simple homespun clothes, blown glass art and knickknacks. Rat catchers and mercenary companies chat idly with the Candorian company soldiers in their full plate regalia. All around the mercenaries, they fly banners denoting their rank and status via the colors flown. A sudden downdraft of wind sweeps through the streets, sending parchment scattering and causing people to clutch at their hats as you see and hear a dragonfly-like machine shakily take to the skies from an elevated platform. You see a pair of operators pedaling and shifting levers as the contraption lifts into the air with a half dozen people sitting within the body. The crowd around you grumbles and shakes their fists as the machine shakily heads deeper within the city. Clearly a normal occurrence, and one not particularly well liked. Finally, you make your way through the merchant's ward and along the main road into the guild hall. Here, the greatest concentration of that pungent smoke hangs low in the air. The sounds of industrious clanging and metal churning rings throughout the air. Mixed within the cacophony of manufacturing, you hear shouting and chanting. As the right side of the road gives way from shop fronts and warehouses to a sprawling park, you see an amassed crowd shouting and cheering as a broad-shouldered figure stands high above the crowd, hanging onto the stony wing of a Feldron statue. The creature you recognize as Feldrix, the faithful mount of the honor-bound King Kieran, the god of justice, war, and light. The amassed crowd is captivated by the rousing speech, and you catch word of unionization, working together for better working conditions, better pay, proper representation in the guild halls. And as you pass the crowd from afar, you watch, coming from the opposite direction, a group of armored Candorian company soldiers and city watchmen arrive to disperse the protesters, who begin to do so slowly and with surprising calm. You further continue to walk and find yourselves crossing the Pentagrin Bridge, where street performers are juggling and performing feats of acrobatics as they dance with the promise of coin to be collected. And finally, on the other side of this bridge, of this five-pointed bridge, you cross and enter the first stretch of the river ward, where you know the Queen's Gambit to sit, where you all first met, and where you were given your task and first mission by the Immortal Man's ward, Isaac Everhard. Isaac greeted you there with promise that should you accomplish this task for the Immortal Man, that more would be to come, and his patronage of this very, very wealthy aristocrat within this city could be yours if you proved yourselves worthy. He told you this is where to meet when you'd accomplish your task. And as you stand inside this gentleman's club and gaming facility, you look to an open kind of courtyard bar where there are men playing dragons chess, playing cards, chatting idly, drinking coffee and smoking. And the red brick of the building before you, you can see many windows, 3, 4, 5 stories tall. And a door awaiting you suddenly swings inward. And stepping out, you see the dark skin and high regal collar of a thin but well-toned, muscular man. His physique is hidden well by his very militaristic style in this kind of button-up, tight, collared coat that hangs long down past the knee, and yet still very visible. He's a physically fit, capable figure. Bald, and cleanly shaven, both face and head, but steely eyes. You recognize Isaac as he looks down at the four of you and says, "You're late, but it's good to see you. Come in. We have much to discuss." And, well, he wants to meet you. And that's where we'll pick up next.
Oh,
Nice.
I want to meet this guy so bad. Why are you immortal? What does that mean?